This episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Movement Watches. Movement Watches was founded on the belief that style shouldn't break the bank. The watchmaker's goal is to change the way consumers think about fashion by offering high-quality, minimalist products at revolutionary prices. With over 500,000 watches sold to customers in over 160 countries around the world, MVMT Watches has solidified itself as the world's fastest-growing watch company. That's right, Movement Watches, MVMT. Greg Miller has had his sexy, the sexy one with the red hands, the black face, and ooh. It's looking good. Movement watches start at just $95. At a department store, you're looking at $400 to $500. They're expensive. Movement figured out that by selling online, they were able to cut out the middleman, retail markup, all that stuff, providing the best possible price. We're talking classic design, quality construction, styled minimalism. It's everything you can want. You can get yours with 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmtwatches.com/kinda. If you like super clean designs and getting compliments, now's the time to step up your watch game. Go to mvmtwatches.com/kinda. Join the movement. Still one of my favorite catchphrases. Good job, guys.
Sight!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Sight! Yeah!
to the first ever episode 107 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
I made the Link noise. Yeah, as he like rolls in there.
Yeah.
He's right back
Oh, here
there.
he goes.
Have you ever thought about it though? Do you ever watch this show? Have you ever watched the Kind of Funny Gamescast?
Yes.
I feel like 90% of these backgrounds just look like panoramics because we cover up the video game portion.
Yeah, we cover up the character. But
You're in Hyrule Field right now. What the fuck was that? That was like
you should know this whole thing. Not with that. No, it's more with the colors. It's more about the whole
I'm
aesthetic.
just saying. I'm not knocking it. There's a little Link right back here. There's a little Epona
right behind
right
me.
back here.
Do I need to move?
No.
Do you want to see the
I was
link
just,
behind
it was
me?
an excuse to grab your ass. If you move, the desk would cover it.
Greg, we've covered this before. In the morning, if you want to grab my ass, you do not need an excuse. Get yourself a handful of it at any time. There's plenty
plays for the
everyone.
afternoon.
Get yourself a handful.
absolutely.
Ladies and
Break you off a
gentlemen,
handful of
one half of the
dicks,
coolest
asshole.
dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Aye.
The other coolest half, off. I don't know. I'm assuming
Take
he's
care of
writing Colin
business.
us right. I don't
Probably.
know. What was that face?
I thought we tripped up Nick's intro. Sorry. I didn't realize you were talking about Call
We haven't
Call.
gotten to me
Yeah,
yet.
no.
one
Big
knows I'm here
Como.
yet.
Nick's just here. Which is my favorite intro for you.
Just here.
Yeah.
just taking up space.
Nick's here too.
Sucking up scenery.
It's been a while since you've been on the Gamescast.
It's been months.
What?
Well, it's chewing scenery is the term, but I said sucking up scenery because I forgot the term. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been probably a year, I have to imagine.
No.
Yeah, I have not been on this show. I don't think I've been on this
You
show
were-
since we moved
No,
into the
you
studio.
came
have
on to
Deus
talk
Ex.
about Deus Ex.
Did I?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Remember,
But,
you liked it with the robot arm.
I did. I liked
You
it a
kept talking
lot.
about the robot arm game and like it's Deus Ex.
You've been playing other games, also
have.
by Square Enix.
I have.
We'll
Now,
get
is
to
that
that
because
soon.
of a sponsorship? Are you a Square Enix sellout?
Definitely, 100%. I am the one person
not
who
because of
doesn't
sponsorship.
pretend to have any goddamn integrity in this company.
They're not paying you to play this
I
stuff.
don't understand why you guys even.
I don't
try
think
to
they'd pay
pretend.
you to play a game that's been out for almost half a year. at
They
this
most
point.
certainly did not pay any play.
Yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, we get together each and every week to talk about video games, all things we love about them, the industry, all that stuff. You can get it early at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like Patreon producer Steven Insler did. Bow, 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 bow. Greg's turning on the fan because he's a fan of you, Steven Insler. I'm very hot.
Drinking hot coffee.
I'm wearing this what material is this? Because it looks good, but it feels a little too warm.
It's still cotton. Look at the tag in the back. Now take it off him slowly.
Oh, I don't like the touching.
It's American.
Great.
Americana.
American Rag is the
okay,
company.
Guess, what'd you say?
Cotton?
What percent?
80%.
60 cotton, 40 polyester.
God damn.
It's the polyester that's
That
getting me.
polyester, yeah.
That's
They
what's
said-
getting me.
I always thought polyester was supposed to breathe, but then I guess it doesn't. I guess it's just like wrapping yourself in tape.
Or you can get it late at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. But I don't know why you'd want to do that, especially for content, the quality at this level. Well, come on.
We're already
You want
nailing
that-
this episode.
You want that shit early, right, Greg?
Yeah, you want it all the time as soon as you can. Shove it in your veins and ear holes.
Yep. Remember, Kind of Funny Morning Show is now also available as a podcast and a YouTube. You can get on youtube.com/kindoffunny. I guess that's all the rigmarole we got to get through.
Is it?
Today? I think so. Is there any?
We can start having fun now? I think we're
is
just
there-
having some fun.
Is there any more? Kind of Funny Live 2 is available. Please go watch it. Share it with your friends. It didn't come up in a lot of people's sub boxes, so go look for it. If you search Kind of Funny Live 2, it'll be there. How are you, Greg?
I'm great.
We've just traveled a lot,
right,
around the world.
I'll tell you, it's pretty great to come in for a 3-day week. Because we did the Australia trip. We went to RTX Australia, or Sydney. Thank you to everybody who came out. You were an amazing audience. You're amazing kids. It was great to hang out with you, go to dinner with you, have the panels, talk to Kojima in front of you, play games in front of you too, I guess. And it was awesome. Great show. And then we came in, felt good to land, have all of Tuesday in front of me, slept a little, played a lot of games. Then come into work yesterday, start playing more games.
There we go.
And then here we are. It's Thursday already.
Here's a question I have that I've always wanted to ask you. Are you close enough to Mr. Kojima to call him Hideo?
I do.
So when you see him across the crowd, you go Hideo.
Yeah. Well, I don't say it like Hideo! I'm falling off a cliff. Hideo! How you doing? Good to see you. No.
Okay. Yeah. Hideo Kojima's going to be his own topic today.
Now. Oh, so save it. Is he saving that topic?
Yeah, let's save. Yeah,
is Nick here the whole
Nick's
time?
Here the whole show.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's interesting.
Also, you're welcome.
Multiple Hideo Kojima games. Multiple.
You did. You've played Metal Gear.
I did.
Yeah.
That counts as 4 games because it was real long.
I don't know if that. So what have you been playing, Nick? Let's start with you.
Oh, are we in that section? We're not talking about Hideo yet? Our good friend Hideo?
Hideo's later. That's
Great.
topic 3.
Recently, I just finished Inside. I played Journey, and now I'm playing Hitman.
So you finally
did
did
big jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think I've always liked Hitman as a series. Traditionally, I've played that game the complete polar opposite of how you're supposed to play it. I think the last time I played was either Hitman 2 or Hitman Blood Money. I think it was Hitman 2, which I think was on PS2. I want to say that was like the last time I actually went through it. And yeah, what I do is I would go through every level instead of sneaking around. I would just figure out where all the guards were and just kill everyone, including all the NPCs. Just have a fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
And they used to rate you, and I would get rated like psychopath.
Yeah.
And like Diana would come on and be like, "Hey, FYI, not the way you're supposed to play this game, Agent 47."
Yeah.
But I'm digging it. If you guys haven't played it, you should give it a chance. It's a like if you like Hitman, if you're a fan of the series, this is like the best.
Now here's the thing though.
Yeah.
Is what's been interesting about Hitman is that everybody who sees it and goes, "Oh, that looks interesting," and plays it seems to fall in love with it. And there's you, of course, but you said if you're a fan of the series, I'm thinking Steve Gaynor, who played it, loved it, talks about it all the time. But then Colin's girlfriend, Erin, he started playing it, and then she took the controller, and she's played hours upon hours upon hours, way more than Colin has. Like, she's super in love with it. What about it speaks to you that grabs you like that? Because you're not, we're joking around, but you're not the video game guy that we are that wants to go home and plays all these different things.
Yeah, I really like the style of it, honestly. Yeah. I like the music in it is fantastic. It really pulls you into the environment. The sheer volume of NPCs they have is really, really cool. So you actually feel like these areas are really populated. And when you start getting some of the later episodes, I think I just finished Marrakesh right now. It really feels like a gigantic bazaar, and you feel like this secret agent that's sneaking around.
Gotcha.
So it's very immersive.
Is it obvious? Because I played the demo at a few events, I think, and I have the retail version. I just haven't jumped down to play with it. Is it obvious, like beating you over the head? Because that was always the one thing about certain Hitmans I played, where it's like, oh, we have this giant room, and you walk in, and it's like giant fucking flashing things of like, well, if I can elude the okay.
No, I mean this.
It feels organic that you're making choices.
It feels pretty organic. There is a little bit of a learning curve, which is good. So you're like, okay, well maybe instead of, because this is how I played the first area, which is in Paris. It's that fashion show they showed a bunch of times.
Yeah.
That took me the longest because I was like, I'm just gonna go through and try to find these people and kill them. And you can't do that. And I would get in shootout after shootout, and you just get punished for that. You can only take like 2 hits before you're dead. So it really does force you to kind of think outside the box, even though you're in kind of a sandbox. And you have to actually you get rewarded for roaming around and discovering stuff, which is cool. So you get rewarded for like figuring out which costume gets you into the right area and listening to people's conversations and picking up those clues that aren't the hardest thing on the planet to pick up.
Of course, it's a video game.
They're not beating you over the head with it. And so you do have to sort of, I like any game or any experience that you can't that you have to kind of learn a little bit about before you walk into. Having said that, the last 2 missions I did beat by just happenstance walking by the target. The target just walked in front of me and I just hit him and then ran.
Nice.
So, there is that.
Do you feel inclined to replay those missions?
Yes.
Because that's the thing with Erin, is that Erin has been playing it like crazy, at least when Colin was originally talking about it, but she wasn't playing anything but Paris.
Right.
She would play Paris and beat it one way and play it again and see if she could do it this way. And
I do, because there's I don't know how many different combinations there are, but with Paris, for instance, you track down one sort of angle that you're one story that you're trying to expose. Like Paris, I think the one that I did was like you look exactly like the lead fashion model, and the person you're supposed to kill is having a meeting with that person later. So you have to figure out how to take that person out, poses them, get your makeup done, and go through. And it's really, really cool. But there's other ways to do it too. There's other people that are having meetings with her at the same time, or you could just try to sneak upstairs. but you have to then like
take out guards, cameras, shit like that.
either take out guards, take out cameras, or you have to drop all your shit because you get frisked. So it's just stuff like that like there's enough there for me to kind of have to kind of keep me interested in thinking, but not so much that I have to worry about really at the end of the day, how the fuck am I going to get up to this place?
Gotcha.
This game's release distribution plan was very interesting.
Yeah, it's episodic.
and unique. So yeah, it came out episodically over the last year. You're now playing the definitive edition that came out on PlayStation 4.
Right.
So
I believe it's the first quote unquote season, right?
Yeah. Like, so you're playing through that, and they kind of like when we hosted the GameStop manager
Square panel thing.
Wait, was that GameStop manager? And we did the Square thing, and so we were briefed on this, and they're talking about how they learned as they were going through the episodes on how to change stuff. So like what you're playing now is the definitive best version of all those episodes. Does it feel like a complete game when you're playing through it, or does it feel like separate episodes that are just kind of attached to each other?
That's my only critique with the game, is that it does feel a little disjointed. You're getting story, you're getting cinematic moments in between each one of these episodes, and it's playing toward a larger overarching story. But I'm not as invested in that, honestly, to be honest, as I am in going back and playing those missions, because it's so much fun.
That's the thing, is I don't know how much that matters to people, because it seems like that's the deal. Same thing with their high value targets. Like they not only did they do the episodic stuff, they gave you a reason to come back over and over and over again. That's a platform, which we always talk about. Like don't make a game, make a platform. And that was what I thought was fascinating when they put out episode 1. It's like, all right, cool, but what is it? Every few weeks or something they release a new target or something for you to go? So it was like a reason to keep playing it.
Are you talking about the targets that just pop up and you have only a specific amount of time to go get them?
Yeah, well, they did specials, like Gary Busey was a target for a while, and like different things like that, and they released that, and they're the whole Sarajevo 6 business, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I mean, they were giving you a reason to replay the same stuff over and over.
It's cool. And again, it's like, there's any which way to go about some of these missions, so it does incentivize you to go back and replay. I mean, there's small stuff that I think could add to the immersion of it. Like I think, like for instance, one of my only small pet peeves is like I've been to Marrakesh, and so when you're walking around and you're hearing nothing but American accents, you're like, that's a little weird. Like everyone you're bumping into people like, hey buddy, watch out. I'm like, that's not what
you're in the
Morocco sounds like. And same with like Paris. It's like I don't think they went.
Oui.
Yeah, you didn't hear a lot of that. You heard sort of a lot of the same voice acting. So that takes you out of it a little bit. But then you're drawn right back in when someone's like, hey, this person's favorite drink is this. And he really wants to know how to make that. I think the recipe's in the basement. You're like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy with a cocktail.
Nice.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Spoilers: you don't kill him with a cocktail. He gets sick, and then you drown him in the fucking toilet.
You come up and he drinks it, and you just like bash the glass, take the corkscrew, jab it in his jugular.
Yeah.
So we do always talk about games as a platform and kind of embracing that. But I think that when this game was first announced, and like I remember when I played a demo of it at one of the events, I was kind of I went into it with some preconceived thoughts of like, oh, because this is being released episodically, it's less than. Like I kind of went into it imagining that it wasn't as important as a true Hitman game would be.
Right.
But like I as you said earlier, I feel like everyone that has played it loves it and like treats it as if it was I think Jeff Gerstmann's Game of the Year last year.
Well, that was the thing with Giant Bomb, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this because the Hitman keeps coming up because this is the thing where episodic is so fascinating in the way that when we talk about video games, right, and we're talking about AAA games, whatever, we're talking about how Watch Dogs is this outlier right now that it's charting even though it's been out months. That's bizarre. You know what I mean? Episodic is such a great idea in the way that you are constantly part of the conversation. Walking Dead season 3, we were just talking about today on the morning show. I can't wait for episode 3. And so it goes from being this thing drops and there's a week before and a week after that we care about it, and then you never talk about it again until Game of the Year or something like that, to every other month we talk about it. And Hitman's been such a brilliant burn on it, where the way it was explained to me by, I think, either Dan Reichert or some of our best friends who are also Giant Bomb fans, is the fact that one of them loved it. It might have been Dan, or I can't remember, maybe Vinny, loved it, and then one by one won everybody over until everybody was in on it by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's super fun. My take on it though is I saw it. Obviously, we went to the panels. We met those guys, the developers, and all that stuff. And it's been in my consciousness for a while. But it didn't occur to me as something that I really wanted to pick up until I had the full experience there. Yeah. And that just speaks to how I like to consume things. Right? It's the Netflix strategy of like, it's an episodic show that's rolling out like TV, and I of course waited until all of them are ready and I can binge it.
Well, what's interesting about it for me is when we went to the event where we first got to play it downtown. And this is like right after we became kind of funny. Remember that we went out drinking with the Life is Strange folks afterwards. I remember playing it, and for me, feeling me butting up against the rules of the game and getting frustrated.
Interesting.
Because it's a demo, I'm there, I have 30, there's somebody behind me lined up. I think my build might have crashed a couple times. And so to go in and get to the security, I'm like, oh, fucking Jesus. All right. But like, that still strikes me as, and when I talk about like how Song of the Deep got me, and I was in the mood for Song of the Deep, and then I did it on 2 separate Saturdays. The way Ratchet and Clank, I was in the mood and loved it for that day, and it's on my shelf, not in a I got to do this like
Gotta wait till you get a
Albatross.
PS4 Pro and then you'll play because it's fucking gorgeous.
It's over there because I want to be in a great mood. No, I didn't.
No,
did I?
wait.
No.
Kevin saw it. When you came over for Royal Rumble, I booted it up and I was
Well,
showing
you
Kevin.
didn't invite me over early enough, and you don't ever invite me back, even though
not
you're
true.
watching The
You
Bachelor.
went
The Bachelor
somewhere.
sounds really
I don't remember
interesting.
what it
The
was.
Bachelor sounds really interesting.
Don't do that to
That was
yourself.
fantastic.
I'm gonna be Hitman is a game I will play. It's on my shelf in the same way of like I'm gonna be in the mood for that one day where I want the tactical. Let's go in there and let's chill out in the environment and let's not rush and let's not have to worry about hack and slash and doing all these different things.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to be in the mood for it. You have to be. You have to be in the mood for wanting to sink at least 30 minutes into just exploring the environment before you pick which way you're going to go about doing your stuff too. But honestly, like once you kind of figure out the flow of it, it then becomes fun to figure out where those different paths lie. And there's a quirkiness to this game. There's always been kind of a quirkiness to the Hitman game.
Sure.
I think that is just endearing and charming and fun and like the episode 2 I think was in Sepizza. It was in Italy.
Spetsnaz.
No, I don't think that was. I mean, that might.
That's
be
not
one
in
of them,
Italy for sure.
but yeah. It's super fun.
It's in the boot.
You're dressing up like a bunch of Italian gangsters, and it speaks to me right there.
We should
It
do
does.
a let's play of this. It sounds like
I'd
it'd
love
be
to.
fun. Find a target and go.
I still say
his
him
ass.
and Aaron.
There we
Him
go.
and Aaron on camera alone playing it, sharing strategies.
It sounds a little.
That sounds like a train wreck waiting to happen.
I wonder who would be the best. Who would be better?
I don't know. It's a good question because, like I said before,
Because I still hear you would like blackjacking people and running out of the room.
but I mean that's the thing when you don't have to do any of this stuff.
Sure.
If you can figure out an alternate route, right? You don't have to get the right disguise to get you through. You can find an alternate route that'll get you into the building.
Sure.
Just like it's similar like Deus Ex, where you're like there's multiple ways of going about achieving the objective. But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, that just happens sometimes. That's the fun of the game, right? Where you're like, okay, I know that I'm going to sneak into this guy and, like, pose as this prisoner, and then when the guy walks into the room to interrogate me, I'm going to kill. Oh, there he is.
You're like drawing on a whiteboard this like complicated plan. The dude comes, he's like, "What are you writing on that whiteboard?" You're like, "Oh."
And like literally, there was the mission in Marrakesh. The guy just literally walked up the stairs right in front of me, and he had a bodyguard in front of him. And as the bodyguard turned, I just rear naked choked him out, and then snapped his neck, and just walked out. And they
awesome.
they barely noticed They noticed me as I was turning the corner, and then I just walked out a window and like left. And they were like, "Somebody was
3
here."
stories down.
Oh yeah, it was brutal. But that's part of the excitement of the game, right? Is
Yeah.
that sometimes you're kind of sneaking around, and sometimes just that opportunity pops up. And
Yeah.
I killed a guy with a moose too. That was fun.
With a
You killed
moose?
him. Well, tell
Giant.
me how you did that.
There's things
Through the
hanging
female.
above. There's things hanging above people sometimes, like heavy objects, and if you shoot them, they'll
Nice,
fall.
nice,
and there was
nice,
this
nice.
gigantic moose statue that was
You
hanging
must have
above
felt
someone.
real good about that.
I did. It took me. I did it. I fucked it up, and the guy because there is an interesting sense of urgency to this, right? Where you do go in, but the targets move.
Yeah, of course,
And the
of course.
opportunity is there for a second, and then they move to the next opportunity. So if you don't pick the right one, like sometimes you're just waiting for them to come to you because you've picked the opportunity that's like the third on their path.
Right.
But if you pick the first one and you take too fucking long, you shoot the moose, it falls. The guy's like, "What? A moose just fell," and then he starts running. You're like, "God damn it!" You gotta hop.
He knew
over
that
him.
moose was more for
Just
him.
start shooting at him with your little with your gun.
Silence PP.
Yeah.
PPK.
But it's pretty brutal when you get caught. So it's fun. It's very rewarding.
I'll get to it one day, hopefully.
It's fun.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna beat it?
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll slow play it. I'll do the thing I normally do. Where I play it over the next like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it took you like a month to go through Inside, right?
Yeah.
Inside.
Well,
Every time I signed on to my PS4, you were playing Inside.
Inside didn't grab me like Limbo did. I don't know why. There was just something that I really enjoyed the gameplay, and then I got to that section with the weird troll doll that tries to drag you into the water,
yeah.
and I was like, oh man, this is too long. This is too long of a section. And then shit got super weird, and then I'm like, I'm gonna back off this for a little bit. But I finished it. Unlike Journey,
course you
which I
did.
just sat down and played, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna beat this in one sitting because you have to.
Good job. Yeah.
And what was your takeaway from Journey?
Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah.
There you
I mean,
go.
it was just one of those. It was one of those like rare, weird experiences that is hard to quantify in words. So I won't even try.
Very
But
true.
I liked it a lot.
Very true. A game that I will never beat, Nioh.
Oh,
You're playing Nioh.
Yes.
This
I put in about 2.5, maybe 3 hours.
Okay. And this is the game that Colin Moriarty refers to as harder than Dark Souls.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying this.
Well, yeah, a lot of people say it's in the same vein as the Dark Souls games.
Okay.
Never played a Dark Souls game, never played Bloodborne. I don't know how to compare it to any of that stuff. I have played Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox, and I feel like this is fairly similar.
This is it's from what Colin's been talking to me about and tweeting about. Right, it's a thinking man's game. You can't act. You can't be impulsive. You have to actually similar to Bloodborne, analyze the enemy and strike when the time's right.
Yeah, it is very high speed though, and arcadey.
Okay.
More similar to, from what I understand, without playing those games, more similar to Ninja Gaiden than to Dark Souls. Dark Souls is way slow and
Heavier.
prodding and heavy, and you're kind of just like, it's really more about positioning and where you're at, seemingly, from what I know. Whereas Ninja Gaiden is a bit more about, you still need to do everything correctly and you get your ass kicked if you get hidden combos, but it feels a bit more like a fighting game than anything else. Playing through this, it is fantastic. I'm playing it and I'm like, holy shit, there's people out there that are really good at games. I'm not one of them. Doing this, anytime I died, I knew exactly why I was dying, which is good. Still infuriating, but good.
Yeah.
But I just kept coming back, kept trying. The way, the systems of the game, and where when you respawn after you die and like how that all works, I'm like, it really is designed based around this trial and error gameplay about figuring out how to best go about attacking these people. And even just random ass grunts feel like a real threat, especially once two guys get on you. It's like really scary.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to like try to plan it out. But it's another one of those rewarding loops of, as you like in the beginning, like tutorial area, like you kind of go around, you wake up and you're not naked, but you're not wearing many clothes.
Ooh.
And you kind of go around
kinda
beating
game.
up all the guards and like
In the nude? Dick and balls just
No,
flopping
you
around?
got little undies on, or like little shorts. I don't even really remember. He's shirtless and doesn't have pants on.
Shirtless Shulk.
Shirtless Shulk. Yeah, a little beefier. He looks really like the Witcher guy.
Yeah.
Immediately
The Rock.
popping in this game, like everything I knew about it was it's like Dark Souls, but Onimusha mixed in or whatever. And I love fucking Onimusha. You know, everybody knows this.
We do.
But playing it immediately starts off and it's way more like Queen of England and blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Not the aesthetic I thought this was going to have.
It's not
Pretty
feudal
quickly, it turns into feudal Japan stuff. But the main character, a white dude, seems weird.
Like
his
the Last
name Nioh?
Samurai.
I don't remember what his name is. It's some weird shit. But he looks like the Witcher dude.
Geralt.
Anyways, you kind of go around and you're getting all the armor of the guards, and like slowly you start like powering up, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, those grunts that were super hard are not hard anymore. And now it's like, I can fuck you up. If there's two of you, I still can't fuck you up. Then you play a bit more, and it's like, now I can fuck two of you up. And then you face a guy that is in full armor, and you're like, well, now I'm fucked. You know, but it was a nice loop. I'm sure there's people that could have got way farther than I did for the amount of time that I played. And I do think that there's just going to be a skill wall that I'm going to hit sooner than later, where I'm just like, I don't even think I can make it past this. Because I remember that even happening with Ninja Gaiden. Like,
Sure.
I got to a certain point, I don't remember when it was, but it was like the 4th chapter or something, and I'm like, I just can't beat this boss.
Talk to me about, so, coming out, I knew that everybody's been hanging their hat on the gameplay of Nioh, and it's this, it's that. And I'm like, okay, cool, it sounds interesting. I was going to play it, then we got inundated with games, which I'm sure we'll get to. And what I don't understand at a glance is this, and at a glance meaning screenshots, a little bit trailer here and there. What is the setup? Is it linear levels? Are they open level? What does the actual gameplay go? Because I understand you're slicing and dicing and doing all these different things and leveling up, but
Yeah, I mean, as far as I got, it's extremely linear.
okay.
And
So
but again,
it's like
very
you know
early.
Onimusha
style game. Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
I was trying to
I
wrap
mean,
my head around
again,
it. Devil May Cry-ish. It has
kind of
levels.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it reminds me of Ninja Gaiden a lot in the way that it's set up. So far, I do imagine that it's going to open up a bit more, so you have a bit more like choice in what area you go to or whatever. But it's not Onimusha. It's not Devil May Cry. Those are the type of games I prefer because they are a bit more on the easy side and the more stylish side.
Hack and slash 30
Yeah, exactly. You can just kind of like go crazy and whatever, and like that's a simpletons type of game.
Sure.
And I'm down for that
you're a
shit.
simpleton?
Yeah, definitely. But anyways, it's a lot of fun, and I can really see why people are going to love this game, and it makes me want to try Dark Souls and Bloodborne and those type of games just to kind of see if maybe slowing it down is for me. And I know that Bloodborne's a little faster than Dark Souls and whatever, like kind of the middle ground, but I'm shocked that this game's getting as good reviews as it is. I think that it's a huge win for Sony.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
sure.
Sony's first party and like just exclusives in general is like, man, they're really just coming out. And the fact that we're only in February and we're
still
just,
have Patapon to come.
we have Patapon, there's still Horizon, there's still like all these
heard of
things like so early, and then obviously all the games that are coming later, but they're in a great Persona and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're in a really good spot, and I want to keep playing Nioh, but I do see the end of that coming soon for me.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think that's the major game that I'm playing right now. The rest of them are kind of more smaller titles. When we did our flight to Australia, I beat Yoshi's Woolly World. Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, which is a port of Yoshi's Woolly World on Wii U.
Well,
I beat it on that. They added Poochie and a bunch of little kid
Poochie?
stuff.
Who's this character on The Simpsons?
Poochie is a dog. He's Yoshi's,
character from
Yoshi's
The
dog.
Does Yoshi ride him or does he ride Yoshi?
They ride each other.
He rides
Depends
Yoshi.
on the night.
He rides
flip a
Yoshi.
coin.
He rides Yoshi.
Great.
No, that's not true. Yoshi rides him.
Damn.
Yeah.
Madam?
Yoshi kind of like jumps on him and goes. Poochie?
P-U-S-S. Oh.
Poochy. Anyway, great game. It's not Yoshi's Island, but it's way better than Yoshi's New Island and Yoshi's Story and shit. The 3DS version kind of lacks the charm that the Wii U one had because a big part of what made the Wii U one so special was the aesthetics and the like yarn art style.
Yeah.
And that really popped on the Wii U, and it was a perfect example of like the Wii U using its art style over graphic fidelity to its advantage. The 3DS takes all that away, and it looks really smudgy and kind of like, that's not Poochie.
Can we call
Throw Poochie up on the wall
we
here.
call
Throw up
Kevin
this
Poochie
image.
from now on?
Throw up this image of Poochie. There's Poochie right there.
That
He is
guy-
a very
that guy
strong man.
is a different Poochie.
Lots of abs.
he's
Very
got an
different,
eight-pack.
different Poochie.
His hand way bigger than his head.
That's
I mean, yeah, it's a glove over his
Gloved
hand.
paw.
Poochie.
Oh, he's so cute.
Oh, cute
That's
Poochie.
the Yoshi's World Poochie.
OMG.
What?
Remind me after this to talk to you about something someone sent us. I know that's loaded. I've been going back and forth with the company, and I meant to show it to you as soon as you got it this morning. You'll know one day, everyone.
Good Lord. This sounds very, very scary.
Scary.
Okay.
What else I got? Oh, so I kept playing a lot of Mario Maker
Mario
on
Maker.
3DS.
Yeah.
That game, I mean, the fact that it's just portable Mario and it's just unlimited, great. Fuck the upload features. Fuck the fact that you can't download things correctly. Like the 3DS is a gimped version. I can't wait for the Switch version to hopefully come and save.
I was going to say,
everything.
this has got to be one of the Switch ports they were teasing, right? Where they're like, there's more ports coming.
But man, it's such a fantastic game. I just love it. Just unlimited Mario. It's great. Especially Mario World. Mario World's just the damn best.
The best.
On the portable side, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links is the damn... That's crack in mobile form. You get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Proper. If you haven't known about this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Download that shit now. You're about to lose the next 10 hours of your life. It's fantastic.
Lose it.
Nick knows all about Yu-Gi-Oh!
I know about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Poochie, and I know about their hidden relationship that none of you guys know about.
The Illuminati.
That is Poochie.
Fire Emblem Heroes,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
a lot of
is
people have been
running that
asking me. I haven't been able to put enough time into it to like really have my like fully fleshed out opinions on it because it's online only. We couldn't play on the plane.
Lame.
That kind of sucked. But it's Fire Emblem in a more limited form. It works really well on in its mobile form. I think it's going to get a lot of people interested in Fire Emblem, and that's very important because that franchise is fantastic. Hope to have more in-depth thoughts on that at some later point. Played Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mega Battle
Yeah, you did.
Power
on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, you did. It's a good primer for the movie coming up. Is it great?
Fucking A. That game
great?
sucks.
Oh, no. I thought we were going
It
the other way.
sucks.
thought
I
it
mean,
was great.
the like, they nailed a lot of. I think it's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Right.
There's DLC packs where you can play as like the season 2 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like looks and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. There was a lot of care put into it from certain perspectives. Then they just skipped the making the game part. It reminds me of a Flash game, like when you play on your browsers and shit.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the Simpsons arcade game and X-Men arcade and Ninja Turtles and all that. If it was made for a web browser and had Power Rangers, and like,
Yeah,
man,
first that sounds
the sound
good.
effects are all right, the music's all right, everything about it's right. Like, even it looks kind of cool. 4-player though, that could be fun.
Gotcha.
Maybe even 5. I don't know. I imagine
Nobody's got 5 controllers anymore.
nobody has 5 friends.
It's true.
So, or 4 friends. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Power Ranger Mega Battle, not the business. Greg, what have you been playing?
Well, Nick,
Yes, Greg.
I feel like not one,
Yeah.
but both hands tied behind my back.
Oh, I'm
Because
sorry.
I'm playing some games and they're embargoed, so I can't talk about them at all.
Okay.
What I can talk about is the stuff we played, going to Australia. So that's why I brought in my Vita, so I could run through my trophies. But where I'd want to start, big Tim Gettys.
Yes.
You gonna buy one? Am I selling you on it by touching that? Are you touching the nub right
I'm
there?
going to play this
Touching
real quick and
that
tell you if
nub.
I like it or not.
What I want to start with is a game you can talk about as well.
Yeah.
More from what you saw. I want to talk about think of the children.
Yes.
My game of RTX Sydney.
Yes.
Think of the children. We were doing one of the Let's Play panels. We've done
The
a bunch.
Australian indie Let's Play panel.
Right. And so it was like basically round robin. They brought out a bunch of different quick indie games. We'll talk about Death Squared as well. We can all talk to that because we have Let's Play up on it and we played more of it there. But I digress back to Think of the Children. We didn't get any primer on what these games were until we sat down to play them. Think of the Children is, and Nick, I need you to come back and listen. This is going to be a game for you. We're going to do Let's Plays of this.
Okay.
What are you reading?
Text from 2064.
Oh, you're reading trophy details on one of my trophies for 2064.
I just clicked on something. Vita.
Think of the Children.
Buy it.
Indie game. Australian indie game.
Yeah.
We played it on PC. The idea is that you and a partner, I don't know how many players it is, but we played it in teams of 2, right? Didn't we?
Yeah,
There's two. Yeah. And so it was that there's 2 adults and then a gaggle of children. And you need to stop these children from being murdered or abducted or drowning. Or like there's all these different things where like the level I played was we were running around a playground. And as soon as the level starts, all the kids are in the center and then they run off to the sides. We had player 4 up there, it said. Yeah, so they run out. Kevin, see if you can get me more information on this. I should have done research, sorry. Like platforms release date, that kind of thing. But it's timed, and so how many can you save? How many? What high score can you get? The kids start and then they run. So yeah, they run to the streets. Child Protective Services runs up and tries to get them, and like you can run and grab them one by one and bring them back. You can run and scream, which will scare them off. Like you see a little radius of your thing run out, so then they go off in different things. Oh, there it goes, right there. And this is the level I played. You got a barbecue grill on fire. You can barbecue and give them burgers to up your score. They'll run into the pool and drown themselves. They'll suffocate in the sandbox. They'll run. Yeah, it's just
kids are stupid.
They'll get exactly.
From a gameplay
assholes.
perspective, it reminds me a lot of Party Hard. We did a Let's Play of it a long time ago.
It was awesome.
Where pretty much there's a lot of shit going on, and you just need to kind of keep your eyes on everything at once.
Yeah.
It looked like a lot of fun. There was a level where you were on a beach, and you also needed to like take care of Grandpa because he was getting over sunburned, and like the sun was just he'd light on fire, and then seagulls would attack one of the kids, and you have to like go. It's insanity.
Jesus,
what I like about it,
like real life.
Exactly. What I like about it, the Party Hard comparison is a good one, I think, in the fact that for me with Party Hard was very much take it at your leisure. Let's see what happens. It's similar to Hitman. You can think it out how you're going to do this and stuff. And I never felt compelled to come back. For this one, doing it where it's all of us working together, or I assume going against each other, or doing how we did, where it was teams of 2, we played and set a high score. Can you beat that score? That is going to be the Let's Play, I think, for us. All right, cool. Everybody jump in and play by yourself, and let's see. Or we break it into teams and go through and see you can do that and see who can be the best at saving all these kids. Yeah. But it was funny. It was fast. It's one of those games that you get in and out of, and I really feel like the more we play it, the more other people play it. You'll come up with the strategies. You'll come up with the ideals. You'll be there to actually have a strategy for coming out and winning.
Take care of those kids.
What do you got for me, Kevin? Details.
Looks like.
Kevin's arguing about his microphone.
There we go. All right, so it looks like coming out mid 2017.
Okay.
On Steam and Humble.
Oh, okay.
So it's just PC, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll have to start begging them.
So that's the thing. For most of the Let's Plays we did, most of it's like it's Steam. We're working on consoles.
That's how indies are. Yeah, you know what I mean. You figure the PlayStation and Xbox teams probably still reaching out and talk to these people, of course.
Wait, go back.
Wait, hold on. Yeah,
go back.
Go all the way back.
All the way back.
Well, if you're gonna do this, you should show it on the TV, right?
So people can see it. All the way back to the beginning.
This is where.
Yeah, it is.
It's the trailer here.
I love this so much.
That's awesome.
This is using the same footage that Nick and I used for
Taco and Bell.
Yeah. Kind of funny live.
So yeah, think of the children. My game of the show for RTX Sydney. Granted, I didn't see everything, but
it was fantastic.
We saw a lot of stuff.
All the games that we played, I think we should talk about all of them.
I agree
because they were great.
I agree. I'm not. Did I sound like I was running from the conversation?
Did I
you motherfucker?
Stutter? Go.
Jesus. You know what?
What's
Nick?
the next one?
He got a big attitude. He got approached for one threesome in this fucking Australia, and now I got to hear about it every day.
More
and he thinks
me.
he's big swinging dick
more
over
than
here.
me.
So then, while we were there, we also played Death Squared again. Death Squared, let's play up on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. I think that game's awesome. Yes. It was awesome to jump in with a different team. I was the only Kind of Funny member. You were hosting the panel, so it was me and Jack and a bunch of the other guys just playing it through and trying to figure out. And like, we had new levels we played through there. And if you haven't seen the Let's Play, your different colored boxes. There's lasers that get introduced. When you move on some levels, you'll move a certain thing. Somebody else will move. They'll move a certain thing. So you have to get dropped in these areas and figure it out on how to do it. You were smiling. Remember Bodyguard?
It was fun. Bodyguard.
Remember Bodyguard?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a isometric Portal.
Yeah.
with 4 players, and you all need to work together
That's a good idea.
to kind of
Achieve your goal.
Every level has like a different gimmick to it.
Yeah.
And the gimmicks start adding on top of each other, similar to how Portal would do.
You're all trying to get to your colored square, which then, when you're all there, shoots lights up into the sky, and that's the end of that level or whatever.
Yeah.
There is, there's a co-op mode you can do with 2 players, 4 players party mode. You can play it by yourself, but then you control all of them, which looks really confusing, or sounds really confusing. We didn't see it in action when we did it. But I'm super stoked for that game. Looking forward to that thing. That is a PlayStation game, obviously. That is a Steam game as well, right? Yeah, okay. I don't think Xbox. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Kevin, look up Death Squared. Give me the rundown on platforms and release date on that too. Thank you very much.
But yeah, you should definitely check it out. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames. Look at our Let's Play. I think that our Let's Play sells the game very well.
Well, sure. I mean, and that's our first glance at that. I mean, because what it is, usually how it works for Let's Plays, people hit me up and then I look at their game and say if we'll do it or not, or if we have time or whatever. And when I saw that, a co-op puzzle game is usually no, we're not those kind of guys. But to jump in and actually watch the trailer, see people dying, I could immediately see us fucking with each other, which is immediately what happened. And then it became really quickly, Kevin wanted to lead and be the general, and he's ordering things around, not understanding things, killing us all. What do you got for me? PS4, Xbox One, Steam.
There we go.
March 14th is what the release date there says. 2017. Yeah.
Why is it so big?
Why is the mouse so big,
Why is
Kev?
your mouse so big?
What'd you do to your mouse? Oh, because they're cute. They got cute little
Interesting.
things going on there.
They cute.
That was great.
There was another game that you played during that called Adventure Pals.
Yeah.
Can you
Was that
get
what it was called?
I think so.
Okay.
Can you Google that, Kev? YouTube it.
Yeah.
Adventure Pals.
Couldn't remember if it's Adventure Pals or Buddies.
Pretty sure it was Adventure Pals.
I believe you.
because I kept having to say it over and over.
Yeah, that's true. You did have to do more work on it.
But
This
I
is
might
the
be
one that was
wrong.
like we were playing boss rush mode or whatever, or killing a bunch of bosses and then playing co-op. and stuff.
So Kevin's look it up. What Adventure Pals is, if that's the name of it. Yes,
Pals,
that is
nailed
what
it.
it is. It reminds me of Cuphead, but it's going to be available on all the consoles.
Nice.
So it's already better.
Oh, damn, burn.
Shots fired.
Well,
This
I
is a
mean,
game I didn't enjoy.
Really?
I played this
I
one
didn't get to
and-
play it. It just looked great.
It was just chaos and hitting things or whatever. It was like, whatever. It's got a great art style. And again, we were playing boss rush mode.
Yeah.
So maybe the gameplay will be
is it-
fine on its own, but just running up and attacking trees, I wasn't feeling it.
So like 2D platformer with a super cool art style. I'm trying to see if we can get a better clip of like a boss or something. Can you scroll forward? Oh, no, that was. I don't know what's happening.
I can't control the video.
Oh, okay.
The video's out of control.
That's
It
fine.
controls us now. See, like that's
Anyways.
that stuff we didn't do. Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
running up
you
and
were just doing the
cute
boss
art
stuff.
style, bright visuals.
Yeah. I think it looks really cool. There you go. Look, that was the boss that you fought this
Yeah,
damn
the tree dude.
And it looks cool. I like it. Adventure Pals looks very much like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Then I'm thinking now I'm walking the show floor in my head. Mm-hmm. I'm walking through the mental version of the show floor.
There was one more game.
Oh, from
pee
the
and get
indie
nuts.
game?
Yeah.
You're gonna pee and get nuts? Yeah. Do not bring nuts back here and eat nuts on this show. All right? You can come back and you can eat nuts off camera on the side and stare at me. You can don't. Why are you you could have easily not crossed in front of the camera.
There's another game called Goat Punks
now that he's
that
gone.
I played on the second day.
There's
where
there's no reason for you to come back through like that.
It's King of the Hill, but with goats, and it's a 4-player chaos game. It's going to be
I didn't
great
see
for
this
Let's
one.
Plays. It was the second day when we did the same thing with 4 new games.
Gotcha.
And it's essentially like you're these goats jumping up a mountain, and you just kind of spin around. It's like a platformer, and whoever gets to the top can drop bombs down below to fuck up everybody else,
Oh,
and
okay.
they fall down. And you just got to get to the top and hold the top for a certain amount of seconds, then you win. It was utter chaos. It looked like a lot of fun. Definitely sold on that one.
Okay. Now, exiting the stage, you and I went to a little booth called Nintendo.
Wow.
Do you remember that?
Oh, I do.
I need a
remember it
prop for
great.
this one.
You need what?
I need a prop
God
for
damn
this
it!
one,
I hate
said.
you. Can you just not?
Yeah,
You
I think
know?
it is.
Yeah.
One about what they played and then the RTX Sydney game. Yeah. You might remember this. Mm-hmm. Tim Gettys.
Yeah, I
it's
do.
called the Kind of Funny Nintendo World Championship.
I remember it well.
I'm the champion of it, as you know. You would never beaten me before we went to RTX Sydney.
Now I have.
Now we go to RTX Sydney, and they're like, "Hey, in between the panels, we need you guys occasionally to go do interstitials, where they bring the streaming crew to us. We talk at a booth for 5-10 minutes." We're like, "All right, no big deal. We'll do that, no problem." You and I go to the Nintendo booth, unsure of what we will see, unsure of what games we will play. Will it be Zelda? Will we play Mario Kart Double Dash? We get there because the whole thing's decked out for Switch. Switch is as far as the eye can see, ladies and gentlemen, for people just to walk up and play. They say, "Come here, go in this room." We go in this room. It's a 1-2 Switch game. The katana game. Do we have a name? Do the 1-2 Switch minigames have names?
So they do have names.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking up right now. Yesterday announced how many games.
I told you not to eat the nuts on.
brought them for everyone. I said everyone, Kevin, not you.
There'll be 28
You can have some.
mini games in 1-2 Switch.
Okay.
When it comes out, and the games have weird names like there's Quick Draw.
Which I played against Hideo Kojima.
Yes.
Let's play up on youtube.com. That's kind of funny.
Your good friend, Hideo.
Hideo.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was the game where you hold the Joy-Con down.
Yeah.
And then it vibrates and you're supposed to pull up and do
No.
the cowboy thing.
Well, maybe it does vibrate. That's not what I was feeling.
What'd you feel?
The way it goes is you have to listen to TV. Because the idea behind Quick Draw is that it's you and me are playing right now. I have one Joy-Con, you have one Joy-Con. You put it down at your side. You wear a cowboy hat if the Nintendo PR people are there to give you a cowboy hat. At home, we should all probably buy cowboy hats. I'm sure Nintendo will charge you $400 for it.
Do you have to wear the cowboy hat?
Yes, of course.
Great.
When we're going to do this Beat Cop Let's Play, do we have to dress as cops? 100%.
That was actually my stipulation. I said, I will do this. We have to dress as cops. And you were like, in. And then you went even further and you got fake mustaches.
Yeah.
And
Don't ruin the whole bit. We haven't filmed it or recorded it. But
I shouldn't tell you what Kevin's dressing up as. He's dressing up as a minority.
anyways, we each have the Joy-Con. We turn away from the TV.
Do we not say that on this podcast? I haven't done
Not
this
this
podcast in a
one.
while.
The TV is right there.
I apologize.
This
everyone.
is the TV. Actually, fuck, we should play it in here on this big screen. It's gonna be awesome. It's over there. You take the Joy-Con, and it's kind of similar like the sandwich thing, where you put it to side. In the whole it's like the thing announces look at each other in the eyes. So we look at each other in the eyes, and then it goes. Well, I think it goes 3, 2, 1, and then it like waits or is ready, set. And then eventually it goes draw, and it's at randomized times. It says draw.
It says draw.
Exactly. And then you pull up your gun and you shoot the other person.
Got it.
And so it's reading who's pulling it up, who's firing, and then it's also reading with the gyroscopes what your angle is, and of course how fast you pull the trigger. And I won a lot. I beat Hideo Kojima's ass. Beat him within an inch of his life, some people said. And I've laid out the challenge. I've laid out the challenge.
Cool ocelot.
Miyamoto, whenever you want it, come get it. Reggie, I'm down. Phil Spencer, take you on. Shuhei Yoshida.
Everybody.
Anybody
You
who
can
wants
get
to come.
1-2 switched.
Exactly. Anyway, but what was interesting about it is you pull it up, you shoot, and then the other person shoots. Then it does a dramatic pause. Then you see because you have silhouettes up there. One silhouette drops, one silhouette standing, and then it pops up the stats of how fast your draw was. But then it also shows you where you shot the bullet, right? Which is interesting because I saw a couple other people playing and people getting basically they weren't getting disqualified, but they were getting shot to death because they were pulling it up and shooting too low, and so it showed the trajectory of the bullet never getting into a hit zone, which I thought was a cool little thing.
So this game's much deeper than people give it credit for.
But it's a 1-2 switch game, but it is a 1-2 switch game that I could actually see.
Well, so that's the thing about the 1-2 switch. I am not defending this as if this is the killer app that everybody should be excited for. The fact that it's even $40, I think is
that how much it is?
It's $40. Real
Should be a
steep.
pack-in. It should be
Real
the Wii
steep.
Sports.
Should be a pack-in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This game is awesome as a pack-in.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know the pricing on it. Yeah,
Not so much. But 28 different games, most of them all very simple things that we've seen at RTX Sydney. I got to play the Joy-Con rotation, which is the one where there's the box and you have to guess how many balls are in the... Oh, no, that's ball count. There's a game called Ball Count, so I guess that's the one I played, where you rotate the controller and you have to guess how many balls are in it, and it's crazy. With
this
the
must
HD.
be the most important text of all time that Nick is sending, that if you set him up multiple times for holding and guessing balls
and he's just
like nothing.
left
When
there.
he's hitting Siri up. Siri, text D,
Just
it's
put
over.
nuts in the mouth. But the HD Rumble was like, this was the first time I was saying on like the other Gamescast that I haven't experienced it yet for gameplay, and it was the first time that I was like, oh shit, like it's really, really responsive, really good, and I nailed how many balls are there every single time.
Yeah, well, you've had a lifetime of practice.
Exactly.
On
So usually it's no more than 2, but
that. Yeah, well,
And there-
Alfredo and Kevin are over.
I guess you're right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
What else was there, Greg? We played the Samurai game.
Well, that's the one I wanted in the title. That's where you're starting. Is that we went over
Samurai Training.
Samurai Trainer, and now this one I had never seen before either. And the way this one works is, again, we're both standing side by side, TV and silhouettes behind us, have the Joy-Con, and then you switch off. It randomly picks the first one, and then you switch off. Thank you. Yeah, shove your trash in my pocket. One person has the katana, and then the other person has to defend.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea is, like, if it says I have the katana, this fucking guy, it'll be like, all right, ready, set, go, and I can go whenever I want to. And the idea is, it's similar to like that game you used to play where you'd slap the hands.
slap people's hands, yeah.
Where you have it, and then I've got to come down and
So
swipe.
he's holding the sword, and I'm like this with my
Your
my
own,
clap
your
ready.
Joy-Con controller.
So it's
yeah.
like boom, and I'm supposed to like catch the sword.
Exactly.
Which wouldn't work in real samurai world, but I guess if it's samurai training, maybe it was.
I think. Well, see, I think it would. It would work in real
didn't have
samurai
any.
world if it was super specific.
It worked in the Adventures of Remo Wilson.
Because there were times for sure I was chopping your head
me.
off. Totally times I was chopping your head off, but you were catching it because I think there's just a nice fat window in there.
Oh, yeah.
Which at first I was like, this is annoying, but then as we went to like the 7th round,
It got
was like,
real
fuck,
fun,
all
where it
right,
was
yeah,
real
yeah.
intense.
Then we started thinking it through, doing all these different things.
That was the thing is I think that it's very well designed for fun. You know,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
No,
designed-
that's the whole thing with 1-2 Switch. None of this is designed to be like hardcore.
Yeah,
MLG
I will say though,
gaming.
the next game we played was the eating contest.
Dude, why? Why are you in such a hurry to get through the segment? Why won't you let
there
people
more?
tell a
Is
yarn?
there more with the samurai?
So we went back and forth with the samurai thing. You started to get cocky, and you said, "I challenge you right here on this live interstitial stream that probably no one's watching because they're waiting for the next panel. I challenge you for the Kind of Funny Nintendo World Championship." And being a man of my word, I said, "Okay." You baited me into it. Then it came down to the definitive match. We've each got one under our belt. Who's going to win this one? And you, don't act like you did it on purpose, brought the Joy-Con up like this, and it registered as a downward blow, counted, and you won.
I did it on purpose. I was trying to slice you up.
No, you weren't.
I was doing all types of
You
crazy
weren't.
shit.
You did. You got
So,
really
yes,
good. So you became
I
the Kind of
became
Funny.
the Nintendo World Champion. How'd that feel, Greg?
It felt really demoralizing and sad. Then we went next door because the interstitial is continuing to go.
Keep in mind, this interstitial total run time. 4 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. We dragged those fans in there and then never talked to them. I felt
Yeah.
awkward about that. We walked into the other one, and this was a new one for me. This is the sandwich eating game.
Eating contest.
Eating contest is this one. And this one is you take the Joy-Con. You probably saw the slow-mo video, I hope, that I put
Well,
up
I
on
saw
Twitter.
Tim doing some disgusting things to it.
Exactly. You take the Joy-Con controller,
Yeah.
and then it's got the little sensor, and you get it here, and it's like, all right, cool. You set it the right spot, and then 1, 2, 3, go, and you got to
And eat the sandwiches.
and eat as
How
many
many sandwiches can you eat?
many sandwiches as you can eat. Now I've been training my whole life for
Do you
this.
do it like this?
No,
Or
no,
do you
no.
like this?
no, I mean,
how
like
you do it?
none of.
Do you shake it?
No,
like
I mean,
this?
they want you to
that's the
hold
video.
it here.
Look, that was me.
Yeah, there's Tim's going right there, going really
Yeah,
hard
that was
on
me
it.
in slow-mo.
And I kicked the shit out of you. In
You
this.
did.
You had
You
no
did.
chance, and so I won back the Nintendo.
I don't know if that's
Kind of
something
funny
to be
Nintendo.
proud
So
of.
the problem was, like, I think that I would have won, but you can see where I fuck up.
Well, you were eating hot dogs.
Maybe you can't. But you
thought you were eating fish.
You can see where I fuck up because I had the distance wrong. You need to like adjust the distance
Show me
accordingly.
on the doll how if this is the thing. How do you?
Well, you need to go like this and go.
okay.
See, I don't think you move
How
it.
much teeth do you use?
I think it was not moving the sandwich because it's reading from one
You needed
spot.
to move the sandwich. You had to.
Face in this is
That was the
amazing.
problem because you could see the sandwich on the screen. Like when you were playing, I was looking at the screen, and the sandwich is moving, and you need to get.
I mean, it was
closer
best
to your
of
mouth.
3, so you had time to figure it out.
I did.
We were out at the same
but
thing.
I was too busy just looking like Bobby Boucher's dad.
It's true.
And this was
It's
great.
true.
But anyway,
so I won back.
so
my
you won
Kind of
back
Funny
the
Championship.
Nintendo
So
World
the record
Championship.
now stands that you have beaten me for once.
Yes.
That's for the Kind of Funny World Championship.
So that was great.
And then on the way out, we saw them. They did have Mario Kart there, and I was really
They
upset
did,
I never got
and
to
that,
play.
that was exciting.
Sorry,
But anyway,
lost.
there's a whole bunch of other games that are going to be available on 1-2 Switch. The sandwich game was the one game that, I mean, it's going to be funny looking to people to do that stuff, but like, I didn't think it was that responsive. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
think
100%, 100%.
That was upsettingly not good.
Yeah.
Whereas the samurai stuff was like perfectly.
It was casual
crafted.
enough
Yeah.
and fun enough. Yeah.
But I think 1-2 Switch is going to be such a good drunk party game.
Oh, sure.
Like it's going to be up there with like Jackbox.
That's gonna be the one where your friends come over and they're like, "Oh, cool, you got the Switch. What do you?" And yeah, let's fucking play the samurai.
play some
Well,
dumb
let's,
shit.
let's do the gun because everyone had fun with the gun game.
Yeah.
the gun game was great,
yeah, and there's 28 total games.
and I'm sure
so-
there's other winners in there.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what
I'm
you
sure
wanna
there's other
play.
losers
Yeah,
as well.
Of course,
There's a game
I'm
called
sure there's-
Baby. That one looks weird.
You saw
There's
it,
a game
right? Yeah,
called
where
Milk
you-
that I haven't played yet,
Yeah.
but it's the one where you
it was
just go like
yeah.
that. Nick's gonna like it.
Nick,
I like
God,
that.
why are you even here if you're just gonna text all the time?
I'm sorry. I'm figuring some shit out right now. I'm sorry.
You're
Hey,
not figuring
relax.
anything out. You're
Relax.
not figuring anything out.
Hey, bro.
He just made the jack off motion
Relax.
for a game called Milking, and you didn't even like.
I
care.
gave him a good 5 minutes of fake dick sucking. In that.
I need
Oh, everybody
more,
wants
Nick.
5 more.
I
Everybody
need
wants
more.
5
All right. Let's talk about some
Greg,
tits.
Yeah.
This is your first time playing the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So you played those games you were just talking about, the 1-2 Switch stuff. Did you play Snipper Clips?
No.
Oh, you
I saw it in the
VIP.
VIP room. But
Yeah.
like that was the woman who was nice enough to unlock her Switch to let me actually hold the Switch as one fucking thing. Because so many people were there were like, "Oh, here's the Joy-Con grip, and I'm like, can I just put it on and pop it out?" And they're like, "Ah."
Yeah,
You
we
fucking
went
cowards.
through this. Nintendo's weird about that shit. Did you play Zelda?
No.
Oh,
but I
okay.
played Zelda. I'm done.
Okay, so
I'm
you
sold
literally
on
just
Zelda.
held the controller.
Yeah, I held the
Okay.
Switch when I went to Snippers Clips.
Snipper clips.
Yeah, I got to hold the Switch with the Joy-Cons on the side, which is what I've been wanting to do. Because I've played with it. I had played with the Joy-Con grip with them slide down. You've been selling people a crock of shit.
So what are you saying?
It was too tight. It was too tight.
What?
I want and I have to buy a Pro controller now. The Joy-Con grip thing felt way too tight.
Tight, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally the same as the Pro controller in terms
can't
of
believe that.
tightness.
I can't believe
the
that for a
buttons are small. That's the reason I'm fucking off this. I'm Pro controller all the damn way.
For me, it's not the buttons because when I held the Switch as a unit, I was like, oh, that's okay. I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, I prefer a controller, but I can hold it all as one thing. A lot of decisions to come down on March 3rd.
There is. I mean, I'm just going all in because I'm me and I'm.
I figure I'm going to walk on down to
Fanboy.
Target and buy the Pro controller. Nobody will expect to go there.
No one will. No one will think to go to Target.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to get one.
Yeah. Shitbag Target. Crappy ass Target over here. No.
We missed anything else?
Yeah. Oh, I still got plenty to talk
Go.
about. Yeah, I mean, do you want me to hurry him through? Because you seem to not want me to have any fun with my games.
Have as much fun as you want.
I want you to have fun.
So, as we're going to talk about later, I interviewed Hideo Kojima.
Mm-hmm.
A gentleman there, Joshua Boggs, also interviewed Hideo the next day. He's a game developer. He made the game Framed.
Yeah.
Frame 2 is coming up. He was showing Frame 2 on the RTX Sydney show floor. I went over there and did an interstitial with him, screwed around with that a bit, then went when he had reached out and explained it, he was like, hey, we're doing this, blah, blah, I made Framed. It's Hideo Kojima's game of the year. I want to say 2014. It was not this last year, but whatever. I guess Hideo said this is his favorite game. I was like, awesome. So I bought it. And then I played Frame 2 a little bit there, and I was like, oh, this is cool. But the idea of Frame 2, iPad game, right? Or iPhone game. And it's a puzzle game but it looks like it's a noir comic. Like the Framed 1, which is one I had the most experience in, and this one too to an extent, I guess, is like your detective noir, black silhouettes running through. And so you'll get a scene of something playing out, and then like the character will run out of a frame into the next frame, and you can move the rest of the frames. Basically, usually what happens is frame 1 is anchored, and the last frame is anchored, and then there's other frames there that you then move around to make it happen. And so,
What is this called?
Framed.
Oh, cool.
And so the trailer I had seen that made me buy the game after talking to him through email before RTX Sydney even came around, was like he runs to a window and jumps out the window and grabs onto like a clothesline to go down. But there was a pigeon in the way. So if you, and then he hits the pigeon and falls. But if you went and flipped him, oh no, it wasn't that. He went down, and if you didn't move the frame to the pigeon, the cops lean out the window and shoot, and they shoot you. But if you move it around and put the pigeon in the right spot, you go down, the pigeon gets scared, flies away, and the cops can't shoot, and they miss you.
They
So
shoot
stuff
the
like
pigeon?
that. No, they fly at the pigeon. They can't aim.
So they don't want to kill a pigeon.
No, do you understand the amount of flack a police officer would get if it shot a pigeon?
I mean, Jesus, right?
Yeah,
Jesus.
pigeon lives matter.
It's true.
So you go down there, all this different stuff happens. You move, and I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh man, this game, gotta buy it. Bought it, and my idea was to play it on the plane, and I was gonna play it on the plane coming back from RTX because that's just how it shook out. Started into it and totally broke my brain because I wasn't expecting it to be as deep as a puzzle game as it was. And so what I mean by that is,
I'm not texting.
no, it's fine. I have it on my phone. If you want to just play it, you can just play it while I talk
Nick
about
says
it.
he's looking it up. He's not texting.
He's gonna
Kev,
text.
can
We
you
all know it's gonna
get a
happen.
YouTube trailer?
Yeah, let me just see this.
Well,
I
hold
wanna
on.
see
You
what
want to
you're
just,
talking
you can do Skycam, can't you? Do you have Skycam going? Big Kev Doug?
Yeah, I got Skycam going. Sorry, I was trying to figure out the.
Well, hold on. Do this.
about. I mean, I don't care if the audience sees it. They clearly don't care.
What do you mean? I just don't care.
I'm joking around.
there you
This
go.
game looks cool.
And so Skycam it up, Kev.
Hold on.
How is that? Hold on. You hit one button and it's fucking on
It's not just one
Skycam.
button, it's like 4 buttons.
Why is it 4 buttons? I don't understand. Oh, there it is.
It's one button.
Anyways,
There we go.
It's not one button. It costs
so we're coming off of RTX Sydney. We've had the show of our lives. We let it all on the field. This starts breaking my brain real quick because it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a narrative adventure of moving these frames. This is what's happening. All right, cool. See, like right there, like right. So the one they're showing you is, this is their tutorial. Slide it over. Just
do this?
Just be no, don't. What do you do? No, Nick. That's not how frame works at all. But you slide it over, and then the thing will play out. He'll light it, and then he'll light a cigarette or whatever. See, like no, it's going. See, like there was action up there and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was expecting to be more narrative driven with like I'm moving the things around to make it happen. But then it gets going and no, like there's a level and it's not deep into the game. It must be 20 minutes because I didn't play it for long because I was so tired. In that you're going through this and when you're running, you have to pay attention to what colored hallway or corner you're coming around and then match it up the next way over and to put the sequence together to come out and sneak up behind people to take. And I was like, fuck, man, I'm in over my head. And what I really found on top of it, on top of that just being difficult, breaking my brain, was the fact that it didn't play the way I thought it would play. Where I thought I'm running, right to left. I'm going to run through this thing. So when I exit, I'm running left to right. So when I exit the right side, I'll come in on the left side. And that wasn't always the case. Sometimes it's like you're running off the right side of the panel, but then on the next panel coming up a hallway. And so like that really, there was enough going on there that I don't want to say I didn't like it. But it wasn't what I needed in the moment. I think it looks awesome. I still want to go back and play it. It's on the iPad, but it was like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't know. But Frame 2 is coming up soon.
This looks like a Kevin Coelho game for sure.
Oh yeah, the GoPro?
The GoPro?
This definitely seems like one for the GoPro. But yeah, you can see it. It's a great idea. It's awesome. I'm not trying to say it. I'm not into it. It's just that I was so tired after that convention to sit down and have like a real thinking man's game was not what I was in the mood for. Instead, I fucked around.
Can I kill a cop?
You can, but will you? See, like coming in and out, kick in and out of stuff like that's weird and it's screwing me off. But you get it, right? Of course, like cool. And then, but it's like piecing it all together was really breaking my mind.
This is fun,
but it's fun. No, it's a cool idea. I'm excited to see what happens with Frame 2. Again, like this game did really well, won a bunch of awards. So clearly, I'm not, I don't think you have to take my I'm tired and couldn't figure it out kind of thing is like a problem with the game.
No, this looks really cool.
But yeah, shot to death.
I just died.
See what happened there?
I think I just died.
I think those are the big ones for what I played at RTX in the show floor. Do you have other stuff that you played at RTX?
I'm trying to think. Some of the other indie games were super cool, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. But I'll think about it, and next week I'll talk about them.
Because I did a whole bunch of stuff where I jumped through things on the plane, trying to find what fit my mood. Played more Danganronpa, like I said I would. Similar thing that always happens, though. Flight out there, I slept the whole way. Flight coming home, I'm like, I'll play this. Oh, this is too much. I'll play Danganronpa. Started playing Danganronpa. 20 minutes into Danganronpa, I'm reading all this stuff. I get tired as usual and had to go to bed. Danganronpa, being a visual novel, a lot of reading, seems to put me to sleep every time. Not a comment on the game. Colin loves it. Everybody loves it. I'm just tired and I should play it at home when I'm not in bed. How you feeling?
It's fun.
Yeah?
I'm gonna get back to because right now I feel like I'm a kid at the parents' table and you just gave me crayons, and now I'm just drawing. That's fine to keep me quiet.
No, I like that a lot. I also tried. I finally did. What did I do here? I tried Exile's End on Vita. Similar thing of kind of Metroidvania. Go through, explore this. We've crashed on a planet. What's going on? Stuff. I didn't like the fall damage. Was a huge pain in the ass in the beginning. Again, these are all like literally I'm popping into these games for 10 minutes and I'm like, this is what I want right now. I'm popping out. You ever been in that mood?
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time when I'm on planes. It happens, especially with the Vita. I love my Vita, but I miss like the Freedom Wars games that like something I'm getting like locked into.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to put 90 hours into this one thing.
Hashtag Switch.
There you go. Tried Slain Back from Hell. This one I remember making waves and I think it must have finally come to Vita.
Oh, Slain.
Yeah.
The one that like the super tight looking like
heavy metal
animation that looks like Panda Musks.
Yep, exactly. Running through, fighting demons, fighting hell and shit, like all that stuff. Hard, as you'd expect from that kind of game. Beautiful, a lot of fun. I recommend it. I hope to get back to it eventually at some point. I played Spider Right of the Shrouded Moon. You ever hear this one?
Always.
Then this is one of those ones that came out and like, people are like, this is a really cool game or whatever. And like, it actually made some buzz on Vita. Finally got around to playing it. A lot of fun as well. You're a spider. You go into these levels. You have to make webs and then trap the other insects in them, kill, go over there, collect them, get jewels, that kind of shit. Unlock the secrets of the house or whatever as you go. Fun, interesting. Cool. The big shout out there for a Vita game, Stranded, A Mars Adventure. This one, the art style reminded me of Jetpack Joyride.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I'm like, Endless Runner. Okay, I got it. And that's what it is. And when I started playing it, it's got that art style of Jetpack Joyride. It's got the feel to an extent of Bit Trip Runner or whatever, where you're running, sliding, going under stuff. But then it's got the gravity of being in space. So you're running and then going, jump and doing these different things and having to keep your momentum to go as you get. Real fascinating, real fun. I enjoyed that one too. I thought when I started, I'm like, this will be a throwaway similar to Jetpack Joyride, where I play that for a while and then be done with it or whatever.
I played Jetpack Joyride for so many hours.
Sure, but you don't understand. I mean, you can jump into a level and it's just whatever. And this one was like a couple levels in. I was like, damn, this is really good actually, and this is really interesting, and it's gonna challenge me a bit more than I thought. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that one day on a plane. But once Switch shows up, who knows?
Who knows? Changing the game, switching the game up. I found the names of some of the games from RTX. Gunscape was one of them. This is a game that is very reminiscent. It's kind of like a nostalgic throwback to the Unreal tournaments. Can you find that, Kev? Gunscape. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I played this one
like
too.
Doom, Quake, a little bit of GoldenEye style gameplay where it is old school first person shooter multiplayer.
And you're making the levels too, isn't
And
that the
you
thing?
can make the levels as well for people to play. Let's try to get a YouTube video so I can show you what I'm talking about. You're on. I appreciate that. Gunscape's currently available on Steam, Xbox One, and PS4. It says currently. That's interesting. I guess we can know.
Another game that I was like, okay, cool, not my kind of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's it. This is it. And of course, again, this is what happens. We're being tossed into the deep end here of just like, all right, you should run around and do this. I'm like, what does this gun do? And I'm getting killed by some fucking firefighter in space. I'm like, get out of here, you
Yeah,
motherfucker.
I thought it looked really cool.
It looks really cool. I'm sure if that's your kind of jam, you're gonna be
Another game, Kev, is Painters Unite.
what the hell's that?
It is essentially Splatoon, but in a more like 2D
Okay.
isometric-y style thing. You have the ability to. So it's kind of like Splatoon mixed with the mode in Tony Hawk, graffiti in Tony Hawk, where you can jack people's colors.
Oh,
So you can paint the other team. It's like
I'll jack you.
Get your head out of the gutter for one
taking
second.
a step back here. Let's say it was like 4-on-4, right? Red
Yeah.
team versus
what we're
blue
looking at
team.
here?
Yeah, this is it.
The red team can paint the blue team, and if the blue team gets painted red, they are now red.
Oh,
So you're trying to overcome the other team with your paint color.
With your
gotcha,
splooge.
gotcha.
And so obviously the team's dynamics kind of switch as you whatever. And yeah, it does look very, very overly sexual.
Oh my God, he came out.
Yeah.
There's so much of it. There's a large
It's been a while since you let anything go.
Whoa.
So anyway, this game looked like a lot of fun. They were playing it on the stage, and it was hilarity.
Good,
ensuing. Let's see. Blind. Didn't play that one, so don't know about that. Anyway, that's all that's on this list. But those games, super cool, very exciting. Keep your eyes on them.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes
Keep it locked
locked.
to RTX Sydney.
RTX Sydney. All right, speaking of RTX Sydney, you get to do something super cool, Greg.
Yeah.
Jet ski.
You didn't get to
jet
jet ski.
No, I didn't jet ski.
Not true.
Have you ever
Not
jet
true.
skied before?
No.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
He ate kangaroo.
I ate kangaroo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As did I. But you got to interview Hideo Kojima
Correct.
himself.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't get to do that.
No, you got to talk to him a little bit.
I said hi,
yeah.
but I felt like
That's how everybody feels
Yeah.
around him, which is always
He-
funny and weird.
he has a presence to him.
Sure.
That like you would understand. Like he is a legit celebrity.
He's
like
got magic
yeah.
to him,
we're in this room with a bunch of like internet assholes. You know what I mean? It's us,
Present company.
Gavin Free,
Michael Jones.
Bernie Burns.
I'm mad about this
Like
game.
all these dudes, right?
Yeah.
We're all a bunch of kids having fun, throwing boomerangs around and stuff because that's what you do in Australia,
Right.
And in our room, like our little media room that we're hanging out in,
We have a green room.
it's called the green room. Whole bunch of food, like alcohol and all this stuff. Kojima has his own little room within our room.
Right.
That is like kind of just like a tent. The Kojima tent.
How big is this tent?
It was a big
Please tell me
tent.
it's like 2x2.
It wasn't a
No,
tent.
it's
It was
in
like
the
just
zip
another walled off area with a little, like, the little curtain door.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for him and his team.
Just for him and his team. So he was in there. And that definitely helped the whole larger than life persona that he had. Like when he walked into, there was a media party that we had where it was just people that were exhibitors or
Yeah.
people covering RTX Sydney and then us goofballs. We were there. When Kojima walked in, everyone was just kind of like
Deep
silent,
breaths, yeah.
you know? And one of our friends came up to us and was like, hey, like you guys, like you're familiar with Kojima's games, right? And it's like,
Yeah, we know.
yeah, you know, we might
bit
have,
here and
there. When he
might
comes
have
in-
played a thing or
When
two.
he comes in, we might bring him over to you so he has somebody to talk to. I'm like, he's going to be fine.
He's
talking
going to be
people,
fine.
right?
Don't worry.
This is the thing. If you like, so here, so dialing time back. That's Friday night. That the event you're talking about, where we're all in. It's in the green room. This media industry event person thing, right? Where it's like more than just the people who are doing panels or whatever. That day starts with you and me going to breakfast, of course. But then I meet up with Kojima, his team, the RTX Sydney team, at like 1:30, and then walk over to the convention center with them. Then proceed to hang out with them the rest of the day, rehearse our panel, walk to the theater. We did our panel in where Josh Boggs, that's what I said, right? He did his panel with Kojima the next day. We see the whole thing, get the lay of the land kind of thing, blah, blah, blah.
I wasn't allowed to go with you.
Yeah.
Which was like one of the first hints of like, oh shit, this is a really big deal.
But here's my thing. And like, that's the whole thing is everybody kept and when you ran into me the first time at RTX Sydney, and I'm talking about like peers, not best friends. The first question usually was like, "Oof, man, are you nervous for this Kojima thing?" And I'm like, "No." Like, "Oh, you've talked to him a bunch, haven't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, and that's the thing of, and I would like people like, "Oh, you're boys." I'm like, "Yeah, we're totally boys, right? We're not like boys, of course."
Have you been to his place in Japan? Have you been to his
We've
hot
been
tub?
invited.
We
That's what
have
I'm
been
telling
invited.
you.
Let's go.
On the panel, he said, when I was asking what the fuck is Death Stranding, he said, if I come to Japan, I can play it.
Why are we here?
I
Let's
know.
go.
We're going. No, I'm going to.
He didn't say play it. He said see it. It's not in a playable fashion yet.
I'm pretty sure he said I could play it.
That's not what he said.
Okay. Well, I'm going to. If we keep saying that's what he said, then that's what happens.
I don't know if
Sure,
that's
no
how
one
that
recorded
works.
that panel.
It will just. Well, I was
They'll
lost
never
in
know.
translation. He doesn't know. Nobody knows.
Oh, I guess
He's not going to go back to watch.
I wonder
his-
if we should figure out if we can upload that panel on our channel. That'd be cool.
Okay.
I'll hit him up.
Why aren't we just stealing the other panel? So why don't we steal that panel too?
I don't know. I think this one feels a little bit like, again, because it's Kojima, man.
Back to my point. I'm
Well, you're
sorry.
not stealing from Kojima. You're stealing from
I
RTX Sydney.
understand the reverence more than anybody, right? Kojima, this industry icon, this guy who's, I still say, put me where I am and all these different things, right? And I dial it back all the time to the first time we took a photo together, which is at E3. We're lined up for the PlayStation conference. It's Colin and I. This is before Up at Noon, so we'll say 2013, 2012, maybe even. And for some reason, the lines are all kind of merged together where it's like, if you're going to actually go and sit down for the conference, great, you're in this line. And if you're just a fan who's hoping to get in, you're in this line. And so it's a kind of like pandemonium to an extent. Colin and I are lined up, and I look behind me, and I see Kojima and his friend back then, a translator who isn't his translator now. And I was like, I turn back to Colin, I'm like, holy fucking shit, Hideo Kojima's behind us. And Colin looks back, he's like, we got to take a picture. He's like, I never do this, but we got to. I mean, we got to, right? And I'm like, I know we got to. So I turn around and I'm like, hi, sorry, we wondering if we can get a photo. And like, you could see it's like, it's the slippery slope we know about where it's like, oof, we're in a public place right now with other people. And if we do this, it could easily turn into, now there's a huge line and we don't want to be a dick and say no to you or say yes to you and no to a million other people. But while we can see like the translation debating going on, I was able to get out an IGN business card and hand it over. And they looked at like, oh, sure, sorry, we didn't, we took the photo, everything's great, we posted it. Forget all about it. Then my career takes a turn, obviously, and I start doing Up at Noon, front-facing stuff. IGN starts using me as a personality and all that jazz. And that we go to that. It was me and Caleb went to New York for the PlayStation 4 launch event where they took over that hotel, and every room had a game and a developer in it. And then this is the PlayStation 4 launch event where we were getting it and different things like that. And so I was going to interview Kojima there, and that was the first time I was actually going to sit down and interview Hideo Kojima. And so we go up to the room, and I'm still rocking this is the one where I had the vest on and the purple tie, and I interviewed Shu and did a one-on-one with him. I go up there, and we only brought 2 wireless lavs. So it was like, all right, cool, we're going to mic Hideo and mic his translator, and then Greg, you'll sit off behind camera and ask questions. And oh, I mean, great, no problem. So we sit them down in front of the camera. I sit behind the camera, and Caleb's like, all right, everybody ready to go? And Hideo says something, and his translator goes, and turns around and he goes, Mr. Kojima would like to know why we're not getting the full Greg Miller experience. And I was like, I'm like, you've seen Up at Noon and you know what's going on. I'm like, holy, yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, blah, blah. I start falling over myself at that point of like, yeah, no, it's just a translator in the mic and blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, no big deal. I'm like, you gotta come on Up at Noon sometime. Never did, dick. But, no, I'm kidding around. We all know that it seems like he was on a short leash over there. So yeah, that conversation was, I'm still nervous to talk to him there. And you jump ahead to, I think my final E3 when he came through with Phantom Pain, where he came on, and that was a big deal too, where everyone's like, this, that, don't know, Hush Tones, get him in here, I was gonna do that. And I gave him that Peace Walker painting. And and by this point, I think he's already followed me on Twitter. So like, I think we're building this relationship of like, okay, I'm a big fan and like this, that, and the other. And I know a few people on his team and I talk to them casually every so often. And there's whatever friendship or acquaintanceship you want to call it happening.
Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
You're boys.
And then it was, when I went down to do that Metal Gear review for us here, you know what I mean? And play all that stuff. And we were doing the exclusive Let's Plays and all that jazz. In that, I think when we played it, talking to him about it, like, you know what I mean? Being able to talk to his team about it behind the scenes, sorry for the embargo, Konami, be able to sit there and talk about like what I actually thought about the game and all that stuff, where then it turned into that thing where the week afterwards, he, through people, hit me up and was like, hey, like, do you want to fly to LA and do this interview with him? And I was like, oh yeah, totally. Remember we got Anthony Cava. We're like, yeah, we'll come down and interview. We'll bring the camera. Great. We got there to do it, and that was when I was like, all right, cool, when do we get to interview him? He's like, what do you, this is people, like, what do you mean? You're not going to interview him. You're here to be interviewed by him. I was like, what? I was like, what? And like, no, he's making a video about Metal Gear Solid 5 and what it means, and he wanted to talk to you and Jeff, and he wants to interview you about what you thought of the game, what Metal Gear. I'm like, what the fuck kind of world are we living in where that's happened? And that is where I think it all fell down of like, we're fine. And like, the fact I keep going back to, you asked earlier, do I call him Hideo? I do, because like people do the whole Kojima-san and that thing, and I understand that's a sign of respect and blah, blah. For me, it doesn't feel right where I don't ever call like Phil Spencer or Mr. Spencer, you know what I mean? Or like Pete Hines, Mr. Hines when he's through. And it's not, I feel like that's just the American in me and the culture I am and all that jazz. And the fact that Hideo Kojima and his team have consumed enough of Greg Miller content that they're still like, we're all in on this. Yeah. We want to do all this stuff.
They want
with
the
him.
Greg Miller experience.
And so it's like, well, I'm gonna just be myself, because if not, first off, I don't want to be disingenuous, and number two, like, that's who I am, and he seems to like that. And so that interview where he interviewed me, and I think if you watch that video overall, it's 5.5, 7 minutes, something like that long, and we talked for 45 minutes until literally his people had to be like, Mr. Kojima, you have to stop. Like, we have other people to interview. You have to keep going. You have to do all these different things. But through translation, him being like, well, he's the first fan who's beaten it. I want to talk to him, and I value his opinion so much. And so when we got up and he hugged me, that's when I was like, all right, we're cool. Everything's fine.
We're good. We boys.
And so that was the thing of getting us together for RTX Sydney, and like watching everybody else have that reaction to it. Where like, yeah, RTX Sydney people were like, we've only told Kojima's people that Greg's coming to the city. Do you mind, Tim, if you don't come? And I'm like, he's not going to care, but it's your show. Don't worry. Da-da. And so that was the thing of us bumming around all day, fucking around, joking around. He kept asking me, are you all right? Because I was so sweaty because it was hot and I was walking to the interviews. Hot. We're fucking around. We're talking to each other. He's, stop and take photos in the street every 5 seconds. And then like when we went to rehearse the panel and like rehearsal was just queuing up the videos or whatever. So we're just bullshitting around making jokes on stage. And then when it was like a hurry up and wait situation, I looked over, I'm like, Hideo. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you see that Master Sword? Let's go take a photo. And they translated. He's like, yeah. And we jumped up and ran over and took the photo with the Master Sword and all that shit. So to jump ahead to the party, he comes in and the tenor of the room changes immediately. It was everybody's like, holy fucking shit, that's Hideo Kojima. I'm in the same room with him. That's awesome. And I've been there, but I'm so far past that. You know what I mean? To where the guy comes over and is like, can you guys talk to him? Like, we'll be fine. Yeah. And then when we looked over and I was like, I want to play a 1-2 switch or draw on 1-2 switch with a quick draw with Kojima. And you were like, if you do it, we should film it as a Let's Play. And I looked over, I'm like, all right, let him finish talking to Bernie. And he stops talking to Bernie. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get him. And I just walked over, I'm like, Hideo, you want to go play the Switch with me? And he's like, yeah. We just walked over and did it. It was awesome. And that's my thing is I think with him, and this is an interesting thing because it comes up on the panel, right? Of the fact of like, who are you? And he's like, well, people don't really know me, right? Like they know my games and they have an impression of me, but they don't know who I am or whatever. I think it's totally reasonable that his people are like, can we get him a private green room? Because they don't know what they're getting into. They don't want it. But like, he came out and ate the same craft services we were eating. And when one Panda Musk was with us and he's like, can you get this signed for me? I just DM'd Hideo Kojima. I'm like, hey, if you have a chance, can you come out? That panel was awesome, by the way. And he just came out. He's like, oh, hey. And he signed it and took, great. And walked back in. Yeah. And it was like, I feel like if that room wouldn't have been there, he would have been chill and totally fine and down to hang out.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think there is this part of it where people also are like, we know who you are, how much you matter, how much we respect you, that we don't want to, make it weird. Do you want to do this? Do you not want to do this? And that's what I think is awesome about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a weird situation because I fanboy out over things. Like I like being excited about things. Yeah. So it's very often that is the case in my life because things have worked out well for me where I get to be in cool situations around cool people. But it's very rare that I'm like, going back to what you were talking about with you and Colin in the picture, I'm like, I do need to get a picture with Kojima. Like, that has to happen. I've been in the same room with him many times. I've seen him many times. I remember at Comic-Con, I saw him, like, he was crossing the street as I was crossing. The first time when I won the shit to go to my first E3, he was actually part of the whole deal. It was when Peace Walker first came out. And he came out in the room and gave everybody PSPs and Peace Walker. Wow. And it was just like a freaking huge deal. And that blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, like this is a legend,
right?
And after that all stopped. It's still weird to be in the same room because it's like I have no interaction with him at all. So like I still was like, I wanted a picture with him, but I didn't want to ask him. I wanted you to ask him. I was like, hey Greg, can you like get me a picture?
Well, I mean,
I made it happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's the thing of like, again, being an industry icon like that. There's reverence and okay, wow, I want to treat him with respect. Let alone the fact that there's a language barrier. That's what makes everything so complicated, right? And the fact that I think if you were in a room with Reggie.
Blazinski.
And Reggie was taking photos with people and hanging out, and you were able to be like, hey man, like I'm great, and like you can just do your normal, hey I'm this and that and blah blah, and like oh cool, blah, blah. But to be like walk up and be like, hey, turn to the translator, sit there and wait, see what it's like an awkward situation. I think people don't want to put him in that situation.
Yeah. No, and that totally makes sense. I mean, it's funny you actually bring up Reggie because I did freak the fuck out when me and Kevin saw Reggie in that elevator. Like I haven't been like speechless for meeting somebody, or not meeting, just being in their presence. Oh, first off, very large man.
Oh yeah, Reggie's huge.
Yeah,
Reggie, holy shit.
Yeah.
Mike.
He looks like a...
Nobody cares what I have to say, Kevin.
He looks like a pro wrestler, man. But I was really intimidated. But that was a little bit different, though. Like with that, I wanted to make sure that I had the right impression with him professionally.
So your choice was just to stand there and
Well, no, I mean, to be fair, it was a very quick elevator ride.
It was way better than my, like...
Kevin was the one that made it awkward, but Kevin's also the one that made it good. Like, because Kevin literally, it wasn't just speechless, because I feel like I handled
it was
not
shot.
talking.
You don't
I
expect
imagine
to
this
walk in
interaction
the
went like
elevator.
this. He walks in, that's the wide shot. Then it cuts to you and Kevin.
Kevin's got a burrito.
And then it cuts back to him, and Kevin's already hugging him.
No.
You know what I mean?
You'd imagine that.
Reggie's
It
just
actually went in. Me and Kevin are like, blah, 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 like talking nonstop. The two of us just like super excited about whatever the fuck we were just talking about. And then the elevator doors open, blah, 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 and we see it's him. And I just shut the fuck up. And Kevin goes, like the loudest gasp. And of course, Kevin has 10 fucking bags on him. I know. But like,
I don't know why.
He appreciated it. You could tell he appreciated the whole
I
thing.
respect that,
But
yeah.
it was like, that was one of those moments where I couldn't think fast enough of like, what do I say now?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know. It was a weird moment.
The next day I got my redemption.
You
Got
did.
into the elevator with him again. I was sitting there. I was like, hey. And he's like, hey. He's like, how's your day? I was like, I'm very excited. And he's like, good.
So
like, great.
Kev has his moment. I haven't talked to Reggie yet.
You'll get it when we bring him on this show.
Oh yes, that'd be fantastic. But no, man, being around Kojima was interesting. I do think the language barrier is what made it really complicated for me.
Sure.
Because I would have loved to be more involved with your guys' interactions, but like, I was like, this is Greg's thing. Totally letting him handle this.
Well, that was why when they initially approached us about the Kojima interview, they were like, we have Kojima, and he's down to do a panel. Do you want to host it? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and they were like, great, and we'll get other people on it. And I was like, can we not? Can we not? And I'm like, not because I don't care about their opinion. Like, I know Gus is a huge Kojima fan. He bought, the Kojima Productions pack just like I did when they released it. But it's going to be like, I can get a rhythm going, but I can't get a rhythm if it's, I'm asking a question, somebody interjects, like da 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 da. Because even like that was the thing people complimented me the most. I think after the interview when they saw it was like, great interview. It was awesome that you were still you. Because I think, and I think you watch earlier things I've done with him. Your reaction is, I don't have that much time. I'm going to give very short, concise questions. Maybe I won't follow up on things because I need to get to this point. I won't make jokes, blah, blah. Most people don't do it like I do. But you know what I mean? Like this was the one where I was like, I'm going to be me and do this thing the way I do it.
Full Greg about it, which I thought was awesome. I thought there was a very nice rhythm with the whole thing. You kept making fun of him in a fun way that like felt like you're in on the whole thing. You treated him the way that everyone thinks about Kojima, which I thought was really good, and he appreciated too.
Yeah.
And I thought that his
that's the thing is he's a normal guy, and but the language barrier and then the respect factor I think always puts him in this place where people are like, how do I talk to you? What do I do with you?
Yeah, I loved you like asking him. You're just like, so you can't tell us anything about Death Stranding. What are we talking about? Like, we're not talking about the other stuff. We're not talking about Death Stranding. Like, what is this game? What is happening? And like, I feel like you did get a lot out of him.
The
fact that he can't say anything.
Sure. Well, I mean, the big question has been with this game is where is it in its production cycle and what's going on with it? I think it was nice to hear him talk about that and the fact of, again, no hard anything, right? But the fact of we know what the game is, we have a framework for how the game plays, and now we're laying all that on top of it and systems. And when he says systems, I'm thinking the way AI interacts and all these different things. My takeaway from it, right, of sitting there and talking for Death Stranding for we did like 45 minutes on this game, right? What I find very interesting is the way he talks about that it's all about connections. And it's going to be about that when you play the final game too. Yes, there's there's shooting or whatever he said. There's action elements to it. There's action to it. But he was saying that 2 hours into it, you're gonna start to see that there's more to this than what you thought there was.
Yeah,
and that is fascinating because he talks about in search of new technology, the best tech around. I really wonder if this game's going to have some kind of weird meta thing to it where I don't know if it's you start it and you link your Twitter, your Facebook, or it's that drastic, and then somehow it's playing with shit like that and making references to like your high school, your hometown, or something weird like that, or if it's put in where you live and it's like the weather is the same kind of shit. But I feel like that's the kind of connection it's going to be, and connecting your friends list and drawing them in as his enemies. And
I agree. I mean, the way he was talking about the connection things and like the ropes being metaphors and like a whole bunch of stuff, I was like, all right, this is the most Kojima thing ever. But I loved how he was talking. He's like, is this going to be an open world game? And he's like, well, once you make an open world game, you can't go back.
You can't go back.
Like that is just. That's how you think of things. So this will be open world.
Yeah.
Something else I thought was my favorite thing that he said. He was just like, yeah, like if you see the two trailers, you brought up the thing where if you play the trailers at the same time, it looks like the baby goes from one trailer to the other. He's like, is that, intentional? And he straight up said yes.
Yeah. Well, according to him, if you can decipher from the trailers what the game is, and nobody's done it yet.
He was saying that there's a lot of hidden shit in the trailers that people still haven't found.
Yeah.
And he was going through all that. And when you were like, yeah, so when's the game coming out or whatever? And he was just like, the game's already begun. I was like, that's fucking awesome. I mean, that kind of feeds into the whole meta-ness of the whole thing of what could this game be? And is it more than just the game? And is that a cop-out? Sure. Can anyone pull that off more than Kojima? No. Could he pull it off? Yes.
And that's the thing, like he was talking about in the interview, the fact that where I was like, well, you're making all these appearances, you keep dropping these trailers, like what's going on? And he was talking about the fact that I think it is to his point that this isn't teasing the game, it's part of the game to him, which I think when you look back at Metal Gear Solid 5 is what he was probably trying to do before Konami really closed everything off. And the fact of like the Moby Dick Studios and the bandaged face and all this like weird meta crazy ass shit that then leads into what this would be eventually. And I think that's what you're seeing now.
Yeah. And something we were talking about this off camera and off panel a little bit, but I think that a lot of people are hung up on like, why is he showing so much so early? And like this game is so far out. Like what's the point of all this? I think that he needs to put this stuff out there because now with Kojima Productions being a brand new Kojima Productions, like when you think of Kojima Productions now, you see the new logo.
Yeah.
They're doing something right,
sure.
And I think that they put out enough with Death Stranding, whether it's Mads Mikkelsen or Guillermo del Toro or Norman Reedus or the two trailers and the babies and how this all, like there's enough iconography that's being put out there that we can have enough to discuss that's not Metal Gear. And I think that it's so hard to talk about Kojima without bringing up Metal Gear and about having those discussions, whether it's Metal Gear Solid 5 and its lack of an ending and what the fuck happened with Konami or whatever, or the legacy of the franchise and like how it's going to, form his new, the shape of his new studio and stuff. I think that it's important and that they did an amazing job. And I didn't really realize it until we're here, where it's only been less than a year since they've announced Kojima,
a little more than a year.
Yeah,
now, right?
You know what I mean? Is it more than a year
right,
at this point?
Because remember what it was going to be? It was last PSX where it was like we had the awkward ending where they ended on Paragon and everybody's like, well, I guess not last PSX now, two PSXs
ago. Yeah.
So it would have been, they made the announcement in December 2015.
But they didn't announce anything at the PSX.
No, that's what I'm saying. Remember, is that it went, he couldn't come to the Game Awards. PSX ended awkwardly. And then like the next week they put out that
was
video.
The next week? It was him and Andrew House.
Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah, I call him Andy.
So we got Hideo, you got
come
Andy.
to my show and argue me about it, Andy.
You're so cool.
Anyways,
I like that. They did that trailer or they did that video, and it's like, okay, cool. PlayStation, we're partnering with them. Here's what we know what we're doing. Then we get the logo for Kojima Productions. Then we get my time I might be wrong on this, but there's the intro video for the dude on the moon and the whale and all that shit. Then there's Death Stranding trailer at E3, then Death Stranding trailer at PSX. You hear it's going to be on Guerrilla Games engine, and like there's just like so much shit coming out where it's like, man, there is a lot to talk about this game and a lot to dissect about this game. For a game that is not out and is not going to be out for a long time, there is a mythology and world to Death Stranding that almost any other game would kill for.
Sure.
So, good job, Kojima.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts, Nick?
He's awesome. I'm jealous of your relationship with him, and I can't wait to play the next game.
Okay, good.
Are you excited for Death Stranding?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually like, I've never played a Metal Gear game except for the last one, which was Phantom Pain. I jumped right into that, clearly not knowing anything about it. It was a super enjoyable experience. Very stylized. I loved it. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. I got into it. So yeah, I'm in. I'm all in. And if he comes here, we'll throw him a party.
Gotcha.
I'm just throwing that out there. Hot tub. We'll put a hot tub in the back, throw him a hot tub party.
Fucking joke around.
an end note to it that I thought was interesting, right, was the fact that, yeah, you mentioned it, right? Like, he never said Konami, said he went to work at a game company. I mean, legitimately, I think the only time I've had my heart broken in an interview, and probably because I'm such a fan / acquaintance of him, is when I asked about Metal Gear initially, and he's like, I don't want to talk about Metal Gear. And I was like, and it wasn't like, oh my God, I've offended him. It was, oh my God, the wound is still, it's as bad as we all think it is. You know what I mean? And then I was like, really? Like, what do you want to do? And he was like, I'll talk about Metal Gear. I was like, all right, go. But I stayed top level on it, and I'm not getting into it. And I think we're all pretty well aware he cannot talk about Konami, right? So when he was like, Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro helped me get through a horrible time in my life, I wasn't like, hey, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I know you, but in the same way of, how does he know that? He can't, I'll tell you about it in a second. He can't talk about it, right? Clearly. There must be a contract or something to that extent.
Non-disclosure agreement.
What I thought was really interesting when we were talking about, what do people get wrong about you, or how do you describe yourself? What do people not know about you, or whatever? He was very clear of like that people think that I don't hit deadlines, and I hit my deadlines. My games are not late, which I thought was it didn't get picked up, it didn't get a crowd chant, it didn't get anything. It was very much though a pointed. No, because Konami was very the hullabaloo out of there was that the deadlines kept pushing back and they were super late and da. And it was like it's not how I feel about it, and that's not, you know what I mean? Like, but he didn't address it that way. He didn't put it into that part of the conversation. That's what I took away from it. How does he know all these people? Him and Guillermo del Toro have been friends for years, it turns out. Guillermo del Toro is a big video game fan, so they just got hooked up that way. And then one day he's at dinner with Guillermo del Toro, and he's like, yeah, I'm working on this new game or whatever, and I think I want to put Norman Reedus in it. And Guillermo del Toro is literally like, oh, okay. Norman. Hideo Kojima wants to put you in his game, and Norman Reedus wrote back, cool.
Fuck yeah, I did. Fuck yeah, I did. Fuck yeah, Daryl did.
Awesome.
Oh my God,
So
that's awesome.
the day after he did the panel with us, Kojima went to dinner with George Miller.
Fuck, that's awesome.
Now
you forget that he's on like that level of creators, man. It's so cool.
And that's what was awesome about him talking.
Like, you guys don't forget
his
that.
whole thing was like, from when we got out of Death Stranding, we're talking in the interview about where it all comes from him, how he, why he got into this. It was that he wanted to make movies, but he knew he couldn't do that in Japan. So he started looking into games that way, and that's where it all goes off. To see it come back like that's right.
Have people asked him about making movies? Because obviously all of his work is so cinematic. Like,
I think it's that thing. He knows he's found his calling here, and this is what it's about.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him, but I mean, he talked about it. Like when he went through the dark time of like, do I keep making games? Do I retire? Do I take time off? Do I want to go into something like movies or whatever? And games are like Guillermo del Toro is like, you need to keep making games.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing for him. Like, yeah, obviously he's an amazing, one of the best game designers, if not the best game designer on the planet. But I think that would translate over. I think he could make something very special in cinema because the way his brain works is different.
Sure.
And that's what's so cool about it. It's like when you play one of his games, you're like, this is not supposed to work the way this works. And I'm not supposed to like this as much as I like it. It's not a traditional path from point A to B. There's a Z thrown in there somewhere, and you just kind of get over there first, come back. So I don't know. The guy's super creative and super outside of the box thinking.
Final point, and this is just a hanging chad that I don't know the answer to. I don't know if you know the answer to this at all. I felt like Bernie and Hideo met at RTX Sydney, and then they both went to New Zealand together.
That's what it seems like.
I haven't drawn that together to figure that out, but it seems like at some point Bernie's like, I'm going to New Zealand and I'm going to go to Weta Workshop, and Kojima's like, I'll come.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's how it looks on social media.
That is what it looks like.
Because like when we were talking to Ashley and Bernie about it, of like,
they didn't mention
we're
it.
going to New Zealand. They were never like, hey, we're bringing Hideo Kojima.
I want to get to that point in my life, like that place in my life where I'm that big, where I could just decide to go to Weta.
Yeah.
And be like, and everyone's gonna be like, yeah, of course they're gonna let him in.
Let him in.
Of course, it's Hideo Kojima. It's Nick Scarpino. He made Hobbits 4.
They'll be like, it's Nick Scarpino. He's got a gun.
Wally
shit.
World, bitches.
All right. Last topic of the day, as always, brought to you by you. You can go to kindoffunny.com/Gamescast topic. Leave your questions for us, and we will answer them. This week, very Nick themed.
I'm gonna go fill this water.
I decided to kind of bring you back into the fold here a little bit. Wasn't planned to have you on the whole show today. It was supposed to be just a topic, but then kind of just fell into it, and we're like, why not?
Why not?
Let's just roll through this. So Richard Welch says, I'd like to see him cast video game characters.
Cast video game characters.
I imagine he means in a movie.
Oh, in a movie.
So I'll throw some characters at you.
Give it to me. Okay.
And let's just start off
the old brain
with,
firing.
with a nice segue here. Solid Snake.
Solid Snake. I mean, obviously, the obvious answer is Michael Biehn because that's the character on the cover is based off of. But Michael Bihn's career did not pan out the way we wanted to. Also, he's a bit old for that. I would say a Taylor Kitsch would be awesome for a Solid Snake, or maybe someone. Let me think. Who am I thinking that I love right now? Yeah, I would go Taylor Kitsch. I love him, and he's so underrated and he's so underused. Unfortunately, who else?
To make it a Legend of Zelda movie.
Okay,
Who's Link?
I think you cast
Who's
Link.
Zelda?
You cast. Interesting. Because you have a character who's got to be childlike, doesn't speak. Haley Joel Osment for Link. And then
He grew up, right?
No,
He's grown up.
He'll always be that kid that Sixth Sense for me. And I would cast Emma Watson as Zelda because I just would want to work with her 100%.
Okay.
And the whole time I'd be like,
well, now you're directing the movie. I like that.
of course, fuck yeah, if I'm casting
Okay,
If I'm
okay.
casting the movie, I'm clearly directing the movie.
Got it. All right. Let's go with just
Yeah.
throw any video game character at him. Oh God, Greg.
All right.
DARPA chief.
DARPA chief?
You've already cast it for Metal Gear.
Oh, this is the guy that hosts Family Feud.
Steve Harvey.
Steve, by the way, Steve Harvey, very universal actor. He could have played all the roles you already talked
True.
about.
Very true.
He could play Zelda. He could play Link.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
100%.
Okay.
So
God
any
bless him.
video character?
Yeah,
Did
just
we already
throw-
do Nathan Drake? Did we already figure
No,
that out?
did Nathan Drake. Go for it.
Nathan Drake. I mean, the obvious. See, I don't want to go the obvious, though, because everyone's always like, it's either Bradley Cooper or what's his butt from Jurassic World?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I don't want to go there, though. Nathan Drake.
How about... You can think about it if you want.
I'm going to think about that for a second.
How about
I'll
this?
come
How do
back
you
to
feel about the Tomb Raider girl?
that. Alicia Vikander?
I don't know anything about her. I saw that first set photo of her, though, where I was like, oh, okay, that looks
She was an
I love it.
Oh, I do
she's
know her
awesome.
then. Okay, yeah,
Those
she's
the set photos of her, I was like, oh
That
shit.
looks just like the
This
game.
looks
Yeah.
just like the game. Good
Yeah,
for you
she's
guys.
awesome. She's an amazing actor. I think they did a great job with that.
Let me
I
throw
think
this
it's
at
gonna
you.
be cool. Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Is this a CG movie?
Are we doing the voice of it, or just someone actually have to be in a Crash Bandicoot costume?
Both.
Because I very
You're
much.
casting the commercial and they're putting him back in the
if
suit.
we're casting Crash Bandicoot, I think we have to bring back arguably the most underrated comedian ever to live, Mr. Carrot Top. I think Carrot Top has to be Crash Bandicoot. I think he has to be that.
I like it. I like
If
it.
it's the voice of Crash Bandicoot, I think there's only one person who can do it, and that man's name is Tim Gettys.
Thank you. Thank
Tim
you.
Gettys.
I'll take it up if I have to.
Booga booga.
Take up the mantle.
Ooga booga. Trying to think of a fun one. Bayonetta.
Ooh. That's tough. You want to go with someone like a Rose McGowan, but I don't know if Rose McGowan's doing stuff like
See,
that.
I was thinking
right
Ashley. I was thinking Angelina Jolie.
now. Yeah, she might be a little too motherly now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Well, she's out on the
doing-
prowl now,
What's that? Oh, she's out on the prowl. That's right.
right? They broke up.
Bayonetta kind of has like a sexy
Older
milf thing to
yeah,
her.
yeah. She's got the librarian thing on it.
Yeah. At least Bayonetta 2, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard. That's. I mean, there's lots of women that could do that. I would want to put like. I want to put like an Eva Mendes in that just to see what it's like. I know the character is traditionally supposed to be Caucasian, but there's a Japanese.
I mean, she's
looks
pretty
kinda
white. She's a
white.
witch. She's white.
But I would do like an Eva Mendes in that. Or
Okay.
like a Jessica Alba.
Ooh.
Get a little Latin flair into
I
that.
like that.
It's hot.
I like the Jessica Alba factor.
I mean, they don't have to be like,
Uh-huh.
all that crazy.
Pac-Man and Four Ghosts.
Pac-Man, we got to go with Adam Sandler. And the Four Ghosts, all the other people whose names I don't know in the Adam Sandler crew.
Gotcha.
In
Yeah.
Pixels.
Yeah, and Pixels. Pretty much the same crew he's worked with since Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. Biggity-doo.
Lee Everett in The Walking Dead. Did you ever,
Lee-
The Walking Dead, the game?
I
Dave
don't-
Fenoy's character?
Oh, Dave Fenoy's character?
Yeah.
Then Dave Fenoy.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
Okay,
Might as well do that.
Solid.
easy.
solid.
Dave's one of those fascinating guys that he's super talented, and I want him to do more live action work.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't get me wrong, I like the Ezekiel on The Walking Dead right now,
Yeah.
but I think
Kari Payton, I forget how you pronounce it.
I think Dave would have crushed that role.
He would've
Final
crushed
one.
it.
Yes.
Super Mario and Luigi. If they were to make a live action movie.
Another live action movie.
Yeah, who would
Well,
you
I mean, I
cast?
think
We
you got to
lost-
bring
we-
back John Leguizamo.
Bob
we
Hoskins
lost-
and John Leguizamo.
we lost- we lost
so
Bob.
unfortunately,
Bob's
Bob
gone.
is dead.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, that's sad.
Didn't have a one-up?
All right.
Mario. I mean,
he's
I
a real
feel
man
like-
who died.
I feel like if you want to get crazy about it, you want to get fucking crazy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to get like, take it up to $200 million, $300 million budget.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg as Mario.
No, stop putting Wahlberg
Yes.
in everything.
Yes.
I'm kind of down.
Or, no, Mark Wahlberg as Mario. The Rock as Luigi.
Luigi.
You got to do it. You want to do Vin Diesel as Mario?
I want The Rock as Toad. I feel like
The
that's
Rock as Toad would be
appropriate.
amazing. That would be amazing.
Okay, so we're casting Super Mario Brothers 2, the movie.
Okay.
All right.
We need
It's
Peach?
going to be a semi-reboot sequel to the 90s movie.
Jesus
but this
God,
one, it's
no.
of Super Mario Brothers 2,
Okay.
where they're in subspace, or not subspace.
Subspace Emissary?
Not emissary, just subspace. And we need Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad.
I'm sticking with Mark Wahlberg for Mario.
Okay.
I feel like that works.
Fuck this movie.
I don't know why.
Fuck
I
you,
feel
Hollywood types
people would-
ruining our-
Either Mark Wahlberg or Channing Tatum for Mario. But if Mark Wahlberg, if it was Channing Tatum, then you got to flip it a little bit and maybe go Channing Tatum as Luigi and Jonah Hill
As
or
Mario?
Seth Rogen as Mario.
Okay.
Right, so we got that connection.
God,
or
no.
if you want to go R, like hard R rated, and you want to bring a little like not go true to form, like maybe one of them was adopted by the Italians, you go Danny McBride and Craig Robinson as Mario and Luigi, right? Or Craig Robinson can play Toad. Because that kind of is
That
fun,
would be good.
right? So any combination of that, of like the Danny McBride, Channing Tatum, Craig Robinson, and then for Peach, I'm gonna go with Aubrey Plaza because I just watched Dirty Grandpa and now I have a huge fucking crush on that.
Oh,
girl.
she's great.
Huge crush on her.
What about
Zac Efron could also be a solid Snake. I just want you guys to know that. And
Robert De
he
Niro
be a
for
Nathan
Mario?
Drake. Robert De Niro for Mario. He's a little, he could work. I mean, he's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I think he could definitely work. But I feel like you want the Mario character if he's going to be acting opposite Channing Tatum and Craig Robinson. You might want him to be in that age bracket. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steve Harvey, on the other hand, would make an amazing Mario because, as we know, Steve Harvey would make an amazing.
He's
everything.
the Mushroom Kingdom king, right?
Oh, the
He could be that
king.
guy, yeah.
Who do we
the king.
cast as Bowser though? Do we have to have a bad guy here?
No, Bowser's not in Super Mario
He's not
2.
in it. Who's the bad guy?
Wart, he's like a frog.
A frog.
And Birdo. Who's Birdo?
Birdo. I mean, I feel like that's maybe where John Leguizamo can come back into play.
Oh, no. Things didn't turn out too well for him?
No, I don't know. I mean, his career's. He's had a great career.
You know who always gives
I'm
off
gonna go Caitlyn
Birdo vibes to me? Alfredo Diaz. I can see him playing a hell of a Birdo. He could be a great Birdo. Someone about his,
I love that.
Someone about his pretty mouth. His
from
pretty
Street
mouth.
Fighter 2.
It's not a
looks just
crossover.
like
We don't have
him.
to worry about it.
What?
It's not a crossover. We don't have to worry about it. He
Oh,
can
I
be
guess you're
both.
right. He could be both. You're right. Lukey Lou says, how do y'all feel about that Netflix Castlevania cartoon? Have you heard about this?
Yeah,
yet?
I heard about it on the news. I haven't seen.
Did you hear more details about
No,
it?
all I saw was what we kind of covered at the last story when you and I were
Yeah,
doing
no,
the show a
there's
couple
awesome
days
news.
ago.
Animated by Frederator.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that's just going to be good. Produced by Adi Shankar.
Oh, that's right. I did hear
Hard
that.
R.
That's going to be
for
awesome.
this thing.
That's going to be amazing.
Hell yeah.
Adi Shankar, for those of you who don't know, produced Dread, but he also, more importantly, did that amazing Power Ranger short that came out
Power slash
about a
Rangers.
year and a half ago with
Yeah.
Katie Sackhoff and James Vanderbeek.
Directed by Joseph Kahn of Taylor Swift video
Taylor
fame.
Swift video fame.
And the Thong Song video and Larger Than Life by Backstreet Boys.
Joseph Kahn's a bad motherfucker.
He really is.
Bad motherfucker.
I
Warren
wanna get him
Ellis
on the
is
show
writing
one
it
day.
too. Comic book writer Warren.
Oh,
Ellis.
Warren, no shit.
Yeah, yeah.
From, did he write Preacher? No.
He
that's
did
Garth
the
Ennis.
Extremis thing, the
Yeah.
Iron Man Extremis arc.
Transmetropolitan was the thing he did. That
Okay.
Planet.
Very exciting.
Hellblazer, The Authority, Red. Next
That's going to
Wave.
be dope as shit.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that.
Matthew Evans.
I'm calling it right now. Colin will hate it. Go ahead.
Matthew Evans
think so?
says,
I know Colin even watch it.
Oh, he probably won't watch it now.
Oh God, I don't want to watch a cartoon.
Matthew Evans says, as someone who's big into production, what draws Nick's attention to a game? The design, music, the setting, things like that?
Definitely. The style, like for instance, Hitman, the style, the music actually really got me. When I was walking around and it felt like a 60s noir secret agent film, I was like, I'm really getting into this. So yeah, definitely. Oddly enough, the cinematics don't really draw me in. I like storytelling through gameplay. And so if I'm actually playing a game and I get a sequence of cinematics that are just characters in the uncanny valley, it doesn't really draw me in. But I do like, I like discovering those stories kind of organically through the gameplay.
Jose Lewis, aka Papello, 14, says, what's the first video game you played, and could you ever fathom that you'd be going to work in an industry related to them?
No, because I had never really wanted to. The first game I think I remember playing was, Jesus Christ, it was got to be on the Apple IIc because I think that was the first like computer that I had that could play a game. It was either that or the Atari 2600, and I think that was like River Run. I think was a game right on Atari. I remember playing that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also the game that I wanted to master so badly but never could because I loved the movie franchise so much, Aliens, which was on the Apple IIc, and it was fucking impossibly hard. It was so hard. I got to the ending every time. You just had to keep dropping flares, and I just couldn't figure out how to get through it. Probably the easiest game on the planet, but I was like 4.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
John Layola, if you were to write a video game, what game would you want to write?
Oh, interesting. That's a very interesting question. I would probably want to try to write something that played out similar to like a Gone Home, because I feel like that's a really good use of the medium that really combines all the aspects of cinema and the interactivity of games to tell a really compelling, cool story. And it's only 4 hours. So even if you don't like it, it's only 4 hours. You get through it. Actually, I think that might not even have been 4 hours.
2 hours.
It was
Hour
like
and a half, 2 hours.
But I like that, and I like what his team did with that, where you just kind of go through and experience it, and you're being told a story very organic. Firewatch is another example of a game that I really liked in that regard. Had some problems toward the third act, like everyone knows, but I liked the concept of just being in that world, being able to explore it, and then experiencing that story kind of organically. And the way they did it, I thought was really genius.
Jodica says, if you could make any change to the Deus Ex franchise moving forward, what would it be?
I mean, another game would be good.
Looking unlikely.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that deep in Deus Ex, but I like the gameplay, and I'd like that. I'd like them to make another game, but unfortunately, they're probably not going to.
Matt LeBouc says, what's the next game you're going to play?
After Hitman, probably Uncharted. At some point, I have to.
You've got to go back and just
series.
do it.
I've never played one.
You're going to love
You keep
them,
starting
man.
one, don't you?
I've played the first 2 hours of one 3 times now. And I shit you not, I'm like, this game's cool. I should go back to this. And then you know what's putting me off now is that I just don't want to fucking play that sub level again. Like,
Well,
I don't
just
want to
pick up from where you left off.
I don't think I have my save. I think I did it on yours.
That shit it goes by so fast.
I know. I'm being a bitch about it. It's one of those things where, like, I've held ground so long on this, and I know I'm gonna like it that I'm just like dreading having to eat my words.
Yeah.
You know, where you're like, I know I'm gonna like this. Why don't I just
you're really
suck it
gonna-
up and go play
Suck it
Uncharted?
up, Buttercup.
Chris Moore says, Nick, what's up with that Robotech Battle Cry Let's Play? I'm going to change that question to, have you ever played Robotech Battle Cry?
Yeah, we should do a Let's Play on that.
Really?
Can you still? What
I don't know. It'd be
system was
really
that on?
PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. We'd have to
figure it
get
out.
creative.
Yeah,
but-
we'd have to get creative with that. It was fun. We'd have to it had a cool multiplayer.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play it?
No, I didn't. I loved the style. That was back when
That cel-shaded style.
games were still like a huge deal.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh man. This
Unfortunately,
looks crazy.
the actual single player campaign for that was not very fun because you didn't. I think there was something off with the sense of momentum they had in space when you actually with the Veritech fighter in space. But when you played the actual battle mode, it was a lot of fun and hard and cool, very cool.
Let's see.
I want that Robotech Crystal Dreams
Let
Let's
Tim
Play.
host.
Remember that game?
No, I don't remember any of these
Never
things.
came out.
I'd never even really heard about Robotech.
Broke my fucking heart. That was when I was hella into video games, and I wanted an N64 so badly because I wanted to play Mario and I wanted to play Robotech Crystal Dreams. And everyone was like, "This game's gonna be terrible because you're in space fighting a bunch of crystalloids, just crystals, because that's all that the N64 could render."
Sure.
And then they canceled it.
Oh, wow, okay.
I think it was a rare game.
Trust
At
me, it could have been
Gangster.
worse. You could have actually gotten the game you wanted, and Superman 64 is your big prize.
Sorry about that.
At
you got
Gangster
another
wants to know, how's it being so damn suave?
It's really fun, but it's really hard because, I get to be around you two beautiful sons of bitches. So you guys set the bar high. You set it
We
high.
try.
And then there's Kevin.
Speaking of Kevin, bongos
It's
for
like a
Kevin.
stepping bar, you know what I mean? You just kinda,
Jesus
it's like a bar
Christ,
that
man, he's gonna hear this.
Bongos for Kevin wants to know, what are Nick's thoughts on explicit sex scenes in games?
I always find them super awkward, but I also always find explicit sex scenes in movies pretty super awkward. Like, it's very hard to do a sex scene tastefully, and when you've got characters that clearly aren't real, like, the only sex scene that I can really think of that comes to mind is like the Mass Effect sex scenes where you're like, I've wanted this for so long, and you got it, and you're like, all right, hey, Miranda, what's up? But all right, fine.
Thanks, Nick, for joining us.
Thank you
Ladies
for
and
having me.
gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny Games cast. We will join you next week for another enthralling episode, but until then, I love you.